Good. Let me see here. So, picking up from where we last left off, the party acquired a letter of introduction from the magistrate of Winnowing Reach, which should allow you to gain an audience with the Birdfolk Council in Alderheart and deliver news of Ashbarrow's fall and the rising threat of bandit coalition harassing Meadowfen and the area throughout. You set out on a 3-day journey to Alderheart, leaving Meadowfen and Meadowwing Reach behind. On your first day of travel, you and Eliza, the Alluran traveling merchant, were beset upon by an ambush orchestrated by Frey Meriden, a wanted bandit captain. Refusing to give in to this shakedown, you defended Eliza once more, driving the bandits back into the woods whence they came from and continuing your journey onwards. Nursing some wounds and taking care of Flair, your injured Emberbat familiar, you set camp for the night at a mysterious pond in a peaceful glen just off the road. Our story continues as you awaken to the sunrise, washing the peaceful glade in radiance and painting the horizon in billowing shades of deep purple, violet, and orange. Morning dew sprinkled across the roadside grass sparkles like diamond dust catching the sun's golden rays. Flowers surrounding this holy pond of the servant shrine bloom open to greet our day's warmth. The whispering winds and multicolored leaves dancing on the breeze. A lone snail crawls along Chungo's wisp lantern, leaving in its wake a shimmery trail upon the glass. The Strig and his companions enjoy the comfort of their tents on this cool summer morning. Some of you dream of soft earth, leafy vegetation taking root in the soil, and the smell of petrichor as rain soaks the ground and blooming plants take in the drink. A twisting vine that the 1,000 tiny life forms that crawl and buzz in the undergrowth of a seemingly infinite garden. Some of you dream of the wind, playful and glacial, sweeping across snow-frosted mountaintops and rocky hillsides. Your wing feathers cutting through the breeze as you glide high above the ground, soaring ever upwards toward unexplored horizons. Some of you dream of the sea, of ocean spray and the wooden creaking of a ship captain's cabin. As you awaken from sleep, that briny smell of seawater lingers still on the breeze before fading and melding into the elegant, sweet aroma of morning tea. Looking down, you see Eliza beaming smile greet you as you blink sleepily, rising from your sleep. The Alluran has taken liberty to brew some hot tea and hands each of you a cup. This light orange liquid within steams against the morning chill, and the leaves within dance and swirls in a sort of graceful waltz. Flair's bee stings, you see, have healed, and the Emberbat happily helps herself to one of Rollo's fruits from the orange tree pile. As Eliza disassembles her sleeping tent below and readies her cart for the journey east to Alderheart, what do you wish to do?
Wake up.
I wake up, it's all a dream. Mork is there.
Mork. This summer, Mork.
Your head is about to die. What do the rest of you do?
I'm gonna go for a swim.
Oh, thank God it almost didn't turn back on.
I think back at the dream. Maybe it has some sort of significance.
Sure. As Pavel goes for a little dive in the pond, Pavel, you feel whatever bruises and lacerations from the previous fight you still have on you close up as the healing water takes effect, you still see that symbol you drew in the grass of the Rhea's holy symbol is still there. Actually has a few mushrooms kind of sprouting outwards in a fairy ring around it. Rollo, thinking back on a dream, you reminisce of your days at sea. It's a pleasant dream, pleasant thought.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm gonna hand off the reins to you guys. You can roleplay if you wish. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm gonna start packing up all the stuff. Waking up, get the jitters.
So I walk over to the pool and I look at my reflection and I contemplate the tranquility of this moment and all the difficulties of Scorch and my village and my past, and then look back at my companions and know that some of them have experienced some of the things that I have, and just trying to think of like where we were then to where we are, how far we've come as a group. And then I continue to walk around the pool and I search for any herbs that I might pick up.
Morello's gonna admire the vegetation and the amount of life that's surrounding them all.
Yeah, both fauna and bird life and what's Megan, you're the one in the biologics, but what's the word for, like, there's fauna and then there's flora, thank you. Well, fauna and flora seem to really team around this pool. Yeah, you see like little quippers and fish and tadpoles in the pond, a few croaking toads on the lily leaves, the lilies themselves blooming into this radiant shade that seems almost gilded in the sunlight. It's quite nice.
When I was looking around.
What were you looking for?
Well, I was walking around the pool. I was looking for any herbs or anything that could be useful.
Sure. Do you mind just rolling me like a nature check to see if you find any useful herbs?
My nature get affected by the fact that I've read that book.
You know what? I'm gonna give you advantage on that roll then. Yeah, just roll twice and we'll pick the higher number of the two and see how well. That's gonna be a natural 20. So with a natural 20, you find herbs matching exactly the description of herbs used in a healing salve that the tenders of the forest often use to mix along with like lakeside moss and other lichen that grows on tree bark. They mix it all up into this soft, gentle poultice that, when rubbed onto wounds and consumed a little bit, really aids in the healing process and restores the equivalent amount of greater healing potions over a course of like 1 whole hour. You find a good hefty amount of these herbs that you can add to your inventory. They are raw and need a little bit of processing, but you have them, and picked, they'll last you a few days.
Cool.
You see like Nevis kind of give you a side eye with looking at those flowers and herbs and casually names them by their scientific terms.
I would like to attempt to find the largest toad in the area.
You see a bunch of toads, some of them still juvenile and swimming along the pond. The elder of which and the larger of which are more stagnant and lazy on the edges of the pond, just got a...
Perfect.
And you just see him, just a prime specimen. This boy.
I cast animal friendship.
Neat.
Ooh, come here, toad.
You cast animal friendship on it, and you see its pupils dilate for a moment as you approach toward it, like talons out. The spell, it seems to shake off the spell and just goes, fuck that, and just leaps to another petal.
No, come back, Toad. Come
Still-
back.
You can still grab it if you wish.
I offer it some food.
What do you offer it?
A big fat bug out of the pond.
You grab, unable to just catch bugs out of the air just yet. You hone your elderly reflexes to pick a bug from the surface of the pond. It's probably long dead. You hold it up. Toad just looks at it, goes cross-eyed for a moment, inflates his throat in a hungry, and then you just see a tongue shoot out, wet your fingers a little bit, and then take the bug into its maw, and then hops closer.
I feed it another bug.
You spend 5 minutes making new friends.
Is it friendly to me?
Sure. It seems
Cast
to.
Beast Bond! I pat it on the head. It was a good frog, Toad.
We must bond. Bond with me, Jimmy.
The spell and the link is active while you and the beasts are within line of sight of each other. Through the link, the beast can understand your telepathic message to it, and it can telepathically communicate simple emotions and concepts to you. You get a sense that this toad is quite content, comfortable, warm in the sun, feels safe around you, doesn't seem to see you as a threat.
Good. Does it appear to be bonded?
Sure, yeah.
I'll let you telepathically ask it if it would like to come sit on my head. And go for an adventure.
Slowly, lazily, not even leaping, just kind of crawling one mucousy paw after the other. It crawls up your beak, past your head feathers, and just settles into a little nest, and then just kind of rests head
Glorious.
down.
What do you think of the name Bartholomew?
You get a sense of like indifference from its croak.
Okay.
Yeah, I come up with a better name for a toad.
Do you have any ideas, Chongo?
Totally.
Continue my walk after
Totally.
looking for herbs. I pick some flowers to give to Eliza, but on my way there, I see the toad, and I approach Pavo, ask for an introduction to the toad. What's the name of your toad, Pavo?
His name is Totally.
I was making the pun that I totally have an answer.
Yeah. Totally. I'm changing the name now.
After that ambiguous answer, I continue walking to Eliza to give her the flowers that I picked to give to her.
As you approach Eliza's campfire, you see a little copper pot has been set and still boiling, still a little bit of that tea left in there. You approach her with those flowers and she goes, "They are beautiful. This is why I like traveling. You get to see so much of the world. I don't have any of these flowers where I come from. Far west
Come
in
from
the desert.
Barovia?
No.
I'm happy you like them, Eliza. Just figured everyone needs a little something every now and again.
Kindness goes a long way, yes. I have.
Eliza, do you have any plans once you get to the Elder Tree?
Yes. You see, I have my own emporium set over there. A little shop up in the canopy. Once we reach Alderheart, I mean to set up shop, stay for a few months, sell my wares, do some trade before I return home.
How much longer do you think it'll take us to get there?
We're not too far off now. We're about 1-2 days away from it. We've been traveling for what seems like a day, so should be that long.
Thank you, Eliza. You enjoy the rest. It's breakfast, right?
It's what?
Is it night? Is it morning or night?
It's morning. It's like sunrise.
Morning. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, dearest.
You enjoy the rest of your morning. I better go see how the rest of the party.
Sure
is, see
thing.
if
I'll
they're
be here
awake.
waiting for you when you're ready to set back on the road. I'm almost packed myself. And you see her take the kettle off the fire and start to tend to it so it's nice and extinguished.
I go back to our circle tents.
Okay. As you make your way up that winding staircase that kind of sort of naturally formed around this tree and platform that Chunko planted in the ground, the nest using the nest charm, it is about the dwindling minutes of that 8 hour of your long rest, guys. So the tree begins to slowly shrink into itself steadily over the course of like 1 minute, slowly bringing the platform down at first, retreating its roots, its branches, before the platform itself begins to shrink away, and your tents are gently placed on the grass ground.
I have finished setting up the camp. Unsetting the camp.
As the tree kind of shrinks onto itself into the center, the branches, the roots, the trunk, all kind of becoming smaller and smaller until they become nothing but a sproutling, and then finally form magically into the nest charm. And it's just gently there on the ground.
I watch with amazement. Just wonder.
Yep.
Cool, we're ready to move out?
Jungle ready? Jungle has everything.
Alrighty. Rolo's ready too.
Is this fresh water?
Yes, it's not salt water. Yeah, it's sweet to the taste. It's nice.
Jungle will refill his water skin.
I'm ready.
Pablo, are you
Sure.
ready to go with your
I
toad?
get into the barrel.
Pavo says goodbye to his
Is
friend.
totally coming with us?
Totally on my head.
Well, this respawn lasts for 10 minutes.
Oh, I thought we were friends. Big sad.
I mean, you can force it to be on your head.
No.
You can also just keep feeding it so it won't actually jump away from you.
Yeah, you know when you catch frogs and it's like they're chilled for like 5 minutes and they just sort of like go into like a spastic must escape mode.
Yeah, Jess and I had that once where there were a bunch of frogs underneath a paddle boat, and we literally played with them. Like we had one on like her shoulder, and it sat there for like 5 minutes.
I will leave this poor toad behind.
It's your call. Also, can I ask you a question? Did you just spend your 2 spell slots like in the first hour of the day?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. The toad doesn't make any effort to leap away. It just kind of looks at you up, licks its upper lip with its tongue, moistening it, keeping it moist. You get you get a sense that either you leave it here in its home habitat, or you somehow make it a home habitat that it can travel with you. As I'm pretty sure toads dry out.
Can I make it a
Yeah,
terrarium?
that's true.
I don't think I have
Yeah.
a big enough vial for a terrarium.
Food for thought.
Can I-
And
Can I pop them in a water flask with the cork left open?
you have flasks?
I have 2 oil flasks, but I don't know how big those are.
So oil flasks are clay jars that are used more for.
I have a bird cage.
Where'd you get a bird cage?
From the bird on top of the hill when
Right.
we defeated the ambush.
I mean,
but I
it's-
figured I should keep that for the bird.
It's something.
I have a cage if you want to borrow it. It's a metal small one.
Both cages are the same size, same property. They're kind of both used for the same purpose. Yeah, if you it's in your hands.
Yeah, I guess I'll attempt to make it into a terrarium for the.
Sure. Picking off some moss, grass, you make it this little soft floor, wet it a little bit, place it. The toad seems content in the cage for now.
Good.
Just add toad in the cage. In your
Toad
inventory.
cage. Instead of bird cage, toad cage.
Toad cage.
Also shove some food in there for him. And then
Sure.
we will be on our way.
All right. Following the sunrise, you set on east. I'll just open up a map for the sake of opening the map. Freaking love that snake picture you drew. It's great.
Thank you.
So we are just over yonder.
Oh, it's not far at all.
No. After about an hour's journey, the squeak of wooden wheels coming from Eliza's cart slows down and comes to a halt. You see Eliza point toward a lone figure walking toward you, some distance up the road. In a sort of careful, hushed tone, she whispers, "More bandits, you think?" She kind of turns her head and gives the lone traveler a side glance.
It could be hikers from the Elder Heart.
Maybe.
You guys want me to scout ahead to see if I can sense anything or hear anything?
Just be careful.
Sure.
I venture forward and do some scouting.
Sure, Ashling, can I get you exactly? With a 6 perception, you glance about and you don't notice any signs of ambush or any movement in the trees. You look toward the figure. It's out in the open, so it's pretty obvious. As the lone traveler gets closer to you, you see she is a birdfolk woman with a ruffled tuft of feathers, bristly white hair spiking outwards and over her eyebrows. Her eyes are sky blue and half hidden within this tuft. A small, dark beak peeks out from this thick tuft, as well as she herself is dressed in this brown-gray robes to which small seedling pods of beggar's lice cling near the bottom. You look, and as she maneuvers towards you, see like embroidered along her cloak is a symbol, like a circle with a branch through it. She walks leaning on a long staff of gnarled wood, atop of which are several flowers blooming, surrounded by butterflies and other pollinating bugs. 6 perception, doesn't seem like a member of the bandit coalition. In fact, I think I have a picture of her somewhere here. I do.
Bless you.
She's just walking along
It's
this
fluffy.
path ahead of us.
Yeah,
Yes?
this fluffy birdfolk, yeah, she's just walking toward you guys, traveling the road seemingly alone. Down then, she kind of...
She's walking towards us.
Yeah, she's walking in the opposite direction that you guys are traveling. So, she's walking like westward.
In the same direction. Okay. So, I lengthened my stride a bit to catch up to her and to see how she's doing. So, hello, ma'am. How are you doing today? Are you on your way to Elder Heart as well? Those are some lovely flowers. Been going well on the road for you.
You hear a tiny voice come out of her beak, just like a little whispering. I'm doing well, thanks. Yes. I'm not traveling. She seems to talk in few whispers, very quietly, very shy-like. Oh, those are lovely. Thank you. No, I'm traveling to the Scorched Groves, for I am a tender of the forest, and I must do my duty to restore it, along my sisters and brothers.
Restore it. I wasn't aware that there was a process that could be done to restore the scorch grove.
Ah, for you see, but there is. Using ley line magic, we help the forest heal from its wounds, an inch, a foot, a yard at a time, each blade grass counting toward progress. As
Amazing to hear.
Come again?
I said that's amazing to hear. that even though it's a slow process that can be done, I know myself included how much that means.
Yeah. In your days in Humblewood and throughout just common history that has been taught to you, you would know that after the calamity, after the four great forest fires of long ago, a society, the same society that helped build and nurture Elderheart and other tree speakers and and druids have assembled together into a group called the Tenders, who take care of places like the Scorched Groves and just provide aid in general. These healing druid society that operate from encampments on the edge of the Scorched Groves. Indeed, the symbol along her cloak seems to match that exact same one. Yeah. As what's the rest of the party doing at this point?
Do we
I guess I'm
hear?
catching up with the thing. The
Yeah.
cart.
That's up to you. You didn't hear her. She's talking whispers, hushed conversation, but she's within your sight.
Okay. Well, I call over to Ashley and ask her what's going on.
This bird folk was on her way to the Scorched Grove to attend to its restoration.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Tenders, child? She asked.
Talking to everyone at this point, right?
Yeah. If you have the time, I could use a little rest, for my legs are growing sore, and I am not as young as I used to be. If you would sit with me, I could tell you a tale of years, hundreds of songs ago.
What do you guys think? Do we have a moment to wait? Eliza, do you mind if we take a rest?
Eliza seems excited to learn every bit and piece of this land if you are asking her personally.
Chuggo sits down.
As you go to
middle
sit,
of the street.
as mid motion through you sitting down in the middle of the road, you see with a wave of her feathered arm and her talons, a little stream of green wisps kind of work their way toward the earth real quick, and then puff out, and below you is a little stool mushroom, soft, buoyant, just a little soft spot for you to sit on.
Boing.
Looking to the other side of the road, there doesn't seem to be anybody traveling at this point, and she continues on to conjure this mushroom ring, like a storyteller's ring, and takes her seat at the head of this circle. Hundreds of songs ago, in the already ancient forest of Humblewood, a wise birdfolk druidess bonded with the treants, these stewards of the grove. The treants taught the sage about the forest, the creatures they shared with, and how all are cradled within the great rhythm's embrace. The sage used their teaching to found the Tenders, an order sworn to uphold the balance of nature forces. Although the sage's name has been lost to history, the Tenders persist to this day. As humble caretakers of the wood, we first Tenders studied the interconnectedness of all life, as well as practice of gentle, natural magic. The treants taught us and helped us heal the forest from light and fire. Following the example of these treants, we tended small villages and used our magic to provide support in times of hardship. We possess a deep insight into the great rhythm, you see. We tend to be seen as a bridge of sorts between the will of the wood and the people who live here. Of 100 songs, we became an establishment, and our presence grew to what it is today. Ah, how I remember the treants, how mighty they were. I remember, so large and powerful they were, but gentle as the spring. Those who come after may not know of their kindness, nor of their great sacrifice, yet it is because of them that we will dwell in Humblewood. We owe them a debt that cannot be repaid, you see. When the fires of the great calamity blazed out of control, it was the treants who rose to our protection. They came from all over the wood to surround the accursed confabulation. Skilled in a primordial magic most ancient, that of the first druids, the eldest of their kind, used their awesome power to form a barrier against this inferno. Their leaves burned to ash, their bodies charred and splintered. Through it all, the treants stood tall and firm, sheltering the wood until a ritual abated the calamity. So, who knows for how long? Living memory may make it hard to believe the treants were once a common sight in the wood. Indeed, they could often be seen strolling through the hillsides. Each treant has its own grove, you see, tended to trees of its own and all living things within them. And the old stories say it is from the treants that we took our name, for we too aspire to be tenders of the forest. Being long-lived, they knew much of the wood's history, and though towering creatures, not even the smallest seed escaped their notice. Above all else, they were teachers, and that is what tenders must strive to be. We, the eldest and wisest of the treants, lost to the flame, we must take our place among them, not only as keepers of lore and stewards of nature, but as those who tend to the very spirit of the world. She goes quiet, contemplative, meditative for a moment. I feel like this.
Sorry.
Jungle wants to know if there's any sightings of the treants since then.
Legends say that some still survive deep within the magical reaches of the deepest forests of Humblewood and beyond. I hold my beliefs that they still do, yes.
Anyone else want to say words?
I think it was a lovely story.
Thank you. It is one that must be passed orally from generation to generation. May
I
you
ask
remember
where
it.
you... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I ask where you're headed.
I am headed to a small encampment along the Scorched Grove to join my brothers and sisters in the healing process.
Oh, right. Okay.
There are many of us, but too few nowadays. And too few growing still with the coming of something dark, I suspect. Something akin to what we faced. Our greatest challenge during the Great Calamity. Bless you, child.
Thank you.
We will...
Challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you think of this dark thing?
The elements
What do
are
you think awaits us?
The elements are in disbalance, child. Fires rage unabated, incinerating nearly all of the scorched grove and beyond, just as it did before. Old embers spark anew. Something angers the elements. Something has set them on edge, and it must be quelled. Before they...
Their source?
We work toward discovering the source, but I suspect that some very powerful magic has caused the scales to tip, weakening the elements that keep fire contained.
Okay, I think we can all take note of that on our journey ahead, in case it's ever brought up again.
I hope you do.
Thank you, ma'am, for your tale. I never caught your name. What's your name, ma'am?
They call me Sage.
Well, it was a pleasant to meet you.
Sage for. What was that, Roland?
I just said it was a pleasure to meet you, Sage.
Likewise, child. May you pass the teachings I have passed on to you today to others. If you are on your way to Alderheart, perhaps it can make for a good conversation over some ale. Perhaps a bonding between friends can be formed over my tale. That would truly warm my heart. And if anyone among you ever wishes to take a pledge to mend the world in all sorts of different ways, seek me out along the edge of the wood, where green becomes grey, becomes amber. And with that, she gets up. The stool mushroom below her sinks to the ground, dissipates into this powdery fungal matter before the wind takes it away. I should be going now. Shouldn't keep my brothers and sisters waiting.
Be safe.
You as well. May Hanera watch you and Ardea's warmth be ever embracing.
What's that chicken god?
I believe in life after life. You're gonna make me open the campaign setting book. Actually, I don't have to, because I made macros just for this. Aha! Amaranthine. Da 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 da. New spells. Amaranthine. Just give me a moment as it loads, and I'll tell you. The goddess of the garden mother.
Yeah.
Goddess of growth, nature, and the like.
Yeah. Or family, or whatever. The
Henwin.
Galleon one.
Henwin, I believe. Yes.
Right.
Hanera is it's Hanera. Yeah. Henwin and Hanera kind of share a domain. Henwin being the same goddess that the witch of the swamp praises. The
chicken
head
god, Beth god.
But then there's the chicken god who is Hanera. She's the garden mother, and and the one whose domain is community and nature, whose symbol is like a bird with plants for tail and feathers. Like literally, the whole tail is like just these plants. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell her I'm a garden mother helper.
She does, and begins to go along her way. Well, keep this handout for... I know Lorian loves lore, so I made a little handout in case...
Little.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's little compared to like what I have in my book, which is like 16 pages about them, and I just kind of compressed them into, well, like the common folk knowledge about the Tenders. For those of you who like lore, and I mean, they'll definitely come up thematically throughout the campaign.
Okay, Marsha has a meeting in 10 minutes, so maybe I'll have to type because she needs silence.
That's fine. I'll be keeping an eye on chat.
Okay.
Right. As she's about to set on toward the east, does anybody have any last minute stuff that they want, or shall I move on? Going once, going twice.
No, think I'm good.
Okay. You travel onwards. The road ahead, stretching to the verdant forest that keeps growing thicker and thicker as you maneuver toward the center. Following the map and the trail and road, you start seeing from time to time trade caravans, and the presence of perch guard seems to be more frequent the closer you approach Eldahart, which brings to some of you a sense of safety, securement. From the cars you see pass by to and through, you see them, some of them are carrying farmer tools, and the folk leading the cars are that of Gallus and humble folk in nature. Seems to be on their way to supply farms throughout the further reaches of Humblewood and whatnot. Some of them are trade wagons with barrels of ale or spice or whatever that are traveling toward the coastline, toward the trade center of Humblewood. And some of them are just travelers such as yourself, adventuring parties even, fellow rangers and the like. Eventually, as the day progresses onwards and begins to descend into the late evening, you see the sky paint this sunset orange. As you continue your day's journey, the sun begins to crest the western horizon and night descends. As the stars begin to come out, you see Eliza light a torch to kind of wash her footing. And
I have the wisp lantern.
Yeah, it's the wisp lantern is just permanently on. The creatures within it seem content to buzz along. Whether it's a creature or some sort of magic, you're not sure, but the light sheds enough light to see quite nicely in the dark. An hour of travel later, you sort of start to feel the exhaustion set in. You've been walking all day after all, and your feet are sore and fatigued. Do you wish to push on, or what do you wish to do from here?
Jungle fine with spending night. If others want to spend the night, set up camp.
Chongo's not talking to me, guys. Chongo's talking to the party.
Sure,
Jungle's-
Jungle. Let's set up camp.
Sure.
Jungle makes executive decisions. Sets up camp.
I mean,
Jungle makes choice.
sure. Chongo, since you're spearheading all this, do you mind roll me a perception check? Just
Yes.
yes.
We're in a landmine field.
Wow.
Not yet. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun
Oh, no.
games.
Perception.
Oh no, Tom switches us to a Vietnam campaign.
I mean, with the amount of bandit ambushes I could have had on the road by rolling it. 13A. Okay. Tight. Let's see here. The evening breeze makes the canopy above rustle, and from some distance away you hear the sound of wooden chimes. Just this sound coming from somewhere close to the roadside where you're standing.
Jungle will check it out.
I like to see if I can determine what's making the noise.
Right.
If I recognize it.
After a while, you two start to hear it. I mean, you recognize it. It sounds like what's actually playing right now. It's like wooden chime sound in the breeze. It's kind
Oh,
of a little ways off the road.
I'll follow Jungo.
I'll just put a marker down to be like, this is camp.
Jungle will tell others that we hear it, and Jungle will start going towards it.
Sure. Lantern in hand, you kind of lift it before you, work your way through the thick underbrush. Before it starts, suddenly, it keeps going for a good 15 feet, and then it breaks off into this clearing. You investigate sort of a sound, and you see along a gentle rise are several small pools of water within a series of cascading craters giving off mist. And you see carved wooden wind chimes that sort of swing from low-hanging branches of a large tree that just really dominates this clearing in the foreground of these pools of water. The tree's bark you see is kind of with a combination of moonlight and your lantern. The bark is painted with like earthly pigments and marked with various symbols drawn with charcoal and calcite. Marble stones embedded in the ground mark a sort of perimeter circumventing these hot springs beyond.
This is a place of worship, Jungo.
Chungo would like to think if Chungo understands symbols.
Sure. Do you want to use Arcana or History for this? So your choice.
Doesn't matter. They're both bad.
Yeah, Chungo is.
Let's go with Chungo history. Actually, let's go with Chungo
watch.
Arcana.
Chungo just rules a nice crisp 4. The symbols drawn upon the tree's bark, obviously they seem kind of primal, and because they're so
Chungo
foreign,
understand these.
imagine like cave paintings, but you have no idea what do they mean. They
And I turn to Pavel Rudd and I point and I say, "It's just markings."
Let me have a closer look, Jungo. Perhaps these old eyes might prove useful.
Sure. Chungo supplies you some light, and I'll allow up to 2 people to kind of provide a sort of advantage roll, or you can roll. You both stare at these. It's very akin to like when people go to a museum, but they have no idea what they're looking at.
Wait, did you say we have advantage?
I said you're giving each other advantages with
Pseudo-
two
pseudo
rolls.
advantage.
Yeah, it's pseudo advantage.
Okay, one more roll, baby.
No, pseudo
wait.
advantage.
Oh,
like you
I
did
see.
it.
Pseudo
That way,
advantage.
it's that people piling up on the same roll, unless you get more creative with it. I mean, you do see like the obvious. It seems to like originate from a time before your time for sure. You don't know how what you can't date these.
Ooh.
Jungo
do any
think-
of the symbols look like some of the symbols the gods have?
No. And that's
No?
peculiar. Not a single one of these is a holy symbol of the Amaranthine. They are savage natured, very, very angular in the way that almost as if whoever made these marks is very practiced and accurate, and then freehand them and make them all curvy. Like some symbols you see are feature just alien gods, no longer in worship or never in worship. Other features these reptilian beasts larger than pine trees, atop which you see like little humanoid figures are mounted, spears and bows in hand. Overall, you just get the sense that these paintings tell of maybe a people that no longer reside in Humblewood or God knows what, but you're not too sure.
Chungo has idea what paintings are.
Okay,
Would you like to hear, Pavel?
Yes. Pavo takes a big old.
I
hit
see
of the
I see the two I see Chungo and Pavo scratching their heads, trying to figure it
Oh,
out.
Chungo not scratching head.
my-
Chungo understands what it is.
Jungo was
You
not bound
understand
by the
what
guy.
it is?
Interdimensional land beings. Chungo doesn't know what interdimensional is, though. Chungo just said big word he saw in the book over there.
Wait, what book, Jungo?
Chungo picks up the book of Druidcraft. I don't know.
Oh. Did you just find that laying around?
No, we had it since the start.
You had it
Oh.
since the start. It's the same one you got borrowed from Meadowfen from the inn. Just kind of borrowed from the collection.
Might I take a look at this interdimensional chapter?
Sure.
No.
I mean,
No.
No.
Okay, Chungo, fine.
Chungo says there's a chapter in here about it.
Oh, well, perhaps I
Just believe
could.
Chungo.
I mean, perhaps I might ascertain the meaning of some of these words.
Chungo's not lying about word in dictionary.
No, Chungo, I do not. I don't believe you. It's that perhaps maybe we could shed more light on this archaic inscription if one of us knew how to read.
Chungo opens up the book to a random page.
leafing to a random page, you come across different instructions on Druidcraft, and very keen to what the tender was talking about earlier. The chapter specifically talks about magic in the earth and ley lines beneath your very feet that can be harnessed for magic, and a whole school of magic around it, and a whole bunch of boring blah 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 magic. Chungo doesn't care.
Chungo
Chungo,
trying to learn, but Chungo can't.
What if it's an ent?
Chungo nods.
Is this to answer your paranoia? One of the tree branches creaks.
Through all of her travels, she's ever seen symbols like these.
Chungo, we should prostrate ourselves. I think it's looking at us.
Throughout all your travels, you haven't, which kind of lets you like hints in a history way that these symbols
originated.
originate.
Seen them if she's seen them.
Who?
If Eliza has seen them through her travels.
Well, Eliza takes a closer look, kind of setting the cart on the edge of the perimeter and approaching, and she takes a look. I've seen these once before while traveling the roads further west. Many shrines like these lay abandoned throughout the forest. These are people, origin from a time before birdfolk and Humblefolk of the Wood ever signed the Humblefolk Treaty. Back in savage days when predator and prey were separated factions, and nature's savage way were still commonplace. I don't know much, but it is quite fascinating to find another one of these. It's kind of exciting. She looks around toward the pools of steaming water, the cascade, and like there's a waterfall and a whole bunch of platforms that kind of mini waterfall in one to another. She looks throughout. She looks toward the wind chimes above, and she says, "Oh, that's weird." And Chungo, you see, like, bring up your lantern, like upon now that you're so much closer to it. In that light, it is evident that these chimes are in fact not made out of wood. Instead, they're made of hollowed yellow material.
Chungo would like to examine the material after prostrating himself.
You mustn't use that word in my presence ever again. And
What? It's
Chungo,
a proper
no.
word.
Don't stop prostrating. It
It's
will
like
eat us.
it's like people who use the word penetrate unnecessarily in a sentence.
You might get penetrated by a branch.
But
Watch
prostrating
Exactly.
is the proper thing
That-
for divine beings.
Sure. After you prostrate yourself and in a sign of some praise, with no reaction from this ancient tree, you look and you see that these wind chimes are in fact made out of bone, and the twine from which they hang is made of sinew.
Yeah. Chungo, let's go. Chungo relays that they're made of people.
Can I approach the bones and, as a predator, determine for what pieces they are?
Sure. You've had rabbit, chicken, and the like before. Small animals. Definitely not people. Just seems to be small meat animals. I don't know what you call it, poultry and such.
Hey, Chungo's a poultry.
Poultry.
Chunk was a person.
Indeed.
You're all people. I'm making a distinction.
And I think the term you were looking for, Tom, is avian.
Well, no, because avian would count Chungo and other bird folk, right? I want to just. I'm specifically saying.
Poultry is literally only chicken.
Yeah,
Chungo
well,
will
that's what I'm
answer this
saying.
question.
This is specifically small animal chicken. These are small bones.
Chungo is Chungo.
Yeah, that belong to crows, chicken, just small meat, small morsels that have been eaten and perhaps just kind of remade into these bone chimes.
Can you tell what material was used to string them up
Sinew.
into this chime?
Dried muscle sinew.
You. Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Barbarian.
That makes sense though for something for ancient cave dwelling. I guess that makes sense. Are there any other things besides the chimes and the strange writing / cave painting?
Roll me
I've
an
yet to enter the
roll
circle.
me-
The circle is scary.
roll me an investigation check as you're looking around for more details, and we'll see how much I can give away. Wonderful. So first of all, like kind of rounding the tree and using both Chongo's light and Eliza's torchlight, you spot something located at the base of it, among the roots. Something has dug a tunnel that leads deeper underground below the tree.
I would like to state one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Meg, please don't leave me and Hunter alone. Last time we were left alone, we destroyed a tower.
We might have killed a person.
We might have killed from-
Nobody else but them two showed up in party. I had a solo adventure, and they couldn't solve a simple door puzzle. So
Hey,
it was
we didn't expect
warded,
the whole
and
thing to
and I gave
explode.
warnings. They threw a small pebble at it. I was like, the pebble just zaps out of existence in a lightning strike.
Yeah, so we're like,
And the
alright,
whole-
maybe we'll just zap all the energy out of this.
The whole
board.
building
Throw it
shudders and becomes sort of unstable, and you see dust falling and shit. And they're like, "Do it again." They threw another pebble, and I rolled, and it's like the building was like on the verge of collapse. And they're like, "Do it again!" And you throw a boulder at the door, and the whole building explodes as the magic just detonates. And they killed like a person that was inside. So yeah, I mean, like,
We brought her.
God, you guys!
We rushed her over to the next town, and everyone came back the next day, and they're like, "What happened?" We're like, "Nothing."
Yeah, we rushed her over to the local fucking angel.
Yeah. And he was like, "What?" And we were like, "Don't ask."
You'll see, guys, that I mute myself quite a bit because I'm having a hard time hearing Tom when I'm having the audio play through my laptop. So I do have my laptop extended to my TV to use my TV audio. So, but I've noticed that that's having even more feedback.
so the
than
solution to that is
usual,
you can
so I mute
switch.
myself a lot.
You can switch to between instead of muting yourself. You can do that if you want, but you can also like make Discord push to talk instead of always on.
Yeah.
Either
What
or,
does that mean?
whatever is more.
So when you hold like V,
press the
and
button,
talk,
or yeah.
you'll say stuff. But if you let go of V, it'll not pick up your microphone.
But you have to set it in settings.
Oh,
Yeah, it's in the
well,
settings.
the only thing is my mouse is a little bit closer because I have a wireless mouse versus the keyboard on my laptop.
True.
Do you have an extra button on your mouse?
Yeah, it has a side button.
Yeah, you could just set push to talk to be that button.
Yeah, but then it takes whatever function that side button
I
serves,
mean, yeah,
which is back. So
It
better
has the
set
most
the keyboard.
annoying function. It's the back function.
For now, for the sake of
Very
expediency and
annoying, but I
convenience,
found
we can
it
just keep it so you can just mute and unmute yourself. But in later session, you can set it to push to talk, and I can show you how after session if you're still around. But as I back into the game, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Around a large tree, you spot something located at the base of it, among the roots. Something has dug a tunnel that leads deeper underground below the
I
tree.
go in the tunnel.
You
Is that within the circle that's circling the?
no, the circle, the perimeter made from the marble stones is circling the pool itself.
The pool is sacred.
Yeah, you see sort of like moss has grown along the side of the tree where this opening is, and something clawed has made markings in the moss, writing. It is not bird folk, but it seems to have been done with claws. You see like 3 claw marks going from up to down, and like a claw mark going across and then down on an angle, and it just seems to be this claw-based language. Does anybody here speak Draconic?
No.
Then,
Jungle speaks bird folk.
then same.
Eliza, do you know Draconic?
Eliza just shakes her head. No, in her all ears. Same as you would recognize Mandarin, but not be able to read or speak it.
Oh,
She recognizes
fuck.
it as such, but can't
Oh,
speak it.
fuck. I know what's in this hole.
Jungle would like
What's
to
in the
look at
hole,
the hole.
Pavo? Tell us.
The lizard people.
Lizards.
Jungle doesn't believe in lizard folk.
What?
How can people live without fur and feathers? Come on.
They have scales.
Jungle, you have a
They
ball
work-
sack
and they
on your
use the
head.
sun.
Yeah, jungle made of flesh. Not
They
scale.
have flesh too,
They
Jungle.
have flesh too.
Just different
What
flesh.
defend flesh?
What? It's thick and rigid.
Chungo does not believe that exists.
Well, Chungo, you exist, so I'm sure there's other monstrosities in the world.
Chungo
Just
thinks
like-
for a second if that's an insult or not. But then Chungo just nods.
Like you molt your feathers every year.
Ooh, I don't want to.
Chungo never
I don't want
shed
that
their
image in my
skin
head.
for new
Molting
shit.
Chungo.
You look over at your little companion, your little Luma there, who's still growing back his feathers, and he's just like shivering in the cold.
Chungo never do that.
Chungo,
Chungo
When you
Chungo big
molt, you don't lose all your feathers. You get rid of some old ones in the process of growing some new ones.
Chungo doesn't believe that happened. Aaron,
As
I'm
a
being
grown
some
turkey,
random.
I can tell you it happened.
Chungo go fucking burr, baby.
Can Chungo fit in the hole?
You can. In fact, the hole is made about 7 feet wide and 7 feet high, very circular and dug out.
Big
It's
hole.
not a small hole. That's like a whole other
Yes.
cave.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want Chungo to lead? Chungo will go
No,
in
no,
hole.
I'm going first. I'm sliding that hole.
Sure thing.
I'll-
Putting
I'll
your
take up the rear. Should we take Eliza with us, or should we leave her here?
Liza seems excited to come along. Yeah, she's very fascinated by everything Humblewood has to offer. Seems safe around you guys too. So
Chungo will be in middle
I'll bring up
protecting
the
her.
rear with Eliza.
sure. With Pavo just sort of puts on his night vision goggles and ventures forward. The rest of you follow, venturing into the hollowed-out tree stump. You step into a fairly lit interior, actually. The walls are made of earth, and the chamber smells of marsh water and lamp oil. The floor here is soggy, and you see like moss has been laid like a carpet to kind of soften it. And a single lamp, oil lantern, hangs and provides light and a little bit of warmth here on the ground. You see various.
Purposely laid moss.
Yeah,
Or
it's-
naturally occurring.
No, somebody like took moss and purposely laid it. Some of the moss did cling to the ground and became to grow upon it, but not flourishing enough. You see a fresh layer on top, and near the edges toward the walls of the cavern beneath, there's like old moss from older layers. So something keeps like refreshing this carpet and making the ground softer. You also see various instruments and tools made of bone that are strewn here and there among bowls full of colorful powders and shriveled up wild berries. Where the packed earth of the walls in this chamber has been sort of made smooth, clay-like, using water, you see more of those primitive hand paintings depicting various animals of the wood that run along the walls to your left and right. Some of them you recognize as giant owls, deer, elk. You also see like a stone table set against one of these walls at the far end of the chamber, and it's absolutely splattered with like splashes of dried blood, and several cut fish heads just kind of stare blankly at you from out of the edge of darkness. You see a bloodied cleaver carved from bone rests embedded in a wooden cutting board.
Avant-garde artist. Jungle appreciates the blood work.
It is
Blood work.
quite intricate.
Can I roll intelligence to understand the art?
You may certainly try. While you may
You
not
move an 8.
appreciate culture foreign to you in general, you understand, you kind of vibe with this interior design. Somebody who really takes pride in the hunt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
somebody really here takes pride in the circle of prey and predator, life and death, and sustenance and gain from the earth. You even spot a few more drawings of burial ceremonies and ways to recycle what is eaten, what remains rather after it's eaten, into useful tools and such. Overall, it speaks to you as if whoever made these really appreciates the art of the hunt.
Jungle nods, looking at everything.
There's a few designs of like primitive and yet intricate traps. Anything from these bear traps made from bear jaws that clamp when stepped on, to a fence-like mechanism. Imagine a fence with the top of it sharpened to points that lays down in the earth. There's grass laid over it, and you see a mechanism with ropes that, if pulled, lifts this whole fence up from the ground from horizontal position to a 45-degree angle lift to just skewer whatever is approaching toward it. Various very tribal, primitive designs of hunting traps and such.
Jungle thinks these people are kinky.
Okay, Jungle.
I'd like to approach the moss covering to investigate to see if it's still warm, to gauge whether or not this being is left recently.
Yeah, without having to roll, you spot the obvious that it has been treaded on by both you and whatever creature has resided here. The treading is fresh enough to indicate that it's still here, just not in this room, obviously. The moss itself is cold to the touch. It hasn't been here in a few minutes, maybe in an hour or more. It hasn't been here. It didn't just leave and you guys entered, so that's for sure.
And does the moss give any indication as to a direction of travel?
It kind of all melts together. It's been here to and through. I mean, where's it gonna go? It's gonna go in and out of the room. It travels to and through between wall to wall.
So there's no extension. This is a room. There's no extension.
This is a chamber
There's
itself.
no
There doesn't seem to lead off into the wall and disappear. No, it doesn't seem to be like that. Yes. Taking a little bit of extra time to just be sure. You take the lantern around, the torch around, along the walls. There's no seams or anything to indicate what you would imagine would be like a secret passage or anything. This is the dwelling. It is a good 20 feet by 20 feet chamber below the tree.
Bravo, what do you think of all this?
Pretty normal.
Jungle agrees.
You see, again, from really intricate, a fusion of bone and wood, finely inlaid, is a small chest at the foot of what looks like a collection of moss that acts as a sleeping nest of some sort. Is a small, I would say about 12 inches across chest. There's no lock on it.
I'll go. Do you want to do the honors of opening it?
I don't believe
Jungle
it's
will go
legal.
towards the chest and look at it.
I do not support this line of action.
It is, as I described it, it's very intricately made of wood and bone. Has a design of this reptilian skull, open, mostly decorative, and fish spines along its arched edges. But it just is not locked. It seems to operate on a simple wooden hinge.
Should we open it, guys?
I mean, open it,
Jungle okay with
But maybe-
stealing.
but maybe don't steal.
Jungle would like to look
Yeah,
inside
just
the
open
chest.
it. We're just checking it out.
With the
This-
pure intent of just checking out, curiosity killed the cat, but
Cured the
satisfac-
cat, yes, Tom.
Okay, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. You open the chest. You see 5 items kind of stowed neatly within it. The first is a leather satchel filled with what looks like herbs, soil, rot, fungus, and other aromatic elements. You can kind of smell it from here. It is a very strong blend of smells. It seems to shift between sea salt to earth to other sweeter smells of flowers, and just keeps shifting, and your head gets a little bit woozy as you just close the satchel and go to investigate the rest of the items. There is a conch, a shell conch, that it's shiny. It seems mundane.
Where's Nevitz?
Jungle puts it to his ear.
You hear the ocean, and
Jungle knows it's just his blood.
just kidding.
Sorry.
Coming for you.
Jungle puts that back in
You
there. Jungle don't
put
want
it
no
to your
demon
ear,
conch.
and along the sound of the usual equi sound of like the sea effect that the shells have, you also hear it breathe, but not like creepy breathe, like in your ear. More like a. Remember that sound that off the Simic Combine soundtrack?
Okay.
That serene, like you're in a water chamber breathing.
Oh yeah.
It's that kind of sound. It's very slow breathing, as if the shell itself is breathing.
Jungle's going to avoid eye contact and put that in his vest.
Okay.
Jungle didn't see anything else. Jungle.
You don't care about everything else? Just put that in.
I was saying that out loud while looking through the rest.
You also see a wooden board with an area of what looks like glass marbles, each about half the size of your palm, within which is contained a single element. You see a mote of flame, a mote of water within another, a swirling of like sand and wind within a third. The fourth one features elements: fire, water, wind, earth, pebbles, and such. And then the fifth one is filled with unmistakably blood.
So there was one filled with nothing because air is nothing?
To symbolize air, it's filled with sand that eternally swirls within.
Okay.
There's
Jungle don't understand that. Jungle keep that for smart kid.
there's a
I
coil.
think Nevitz will enjoy this.
Yeah, it does seem arcane in nature.
I
There,
wrestle with my inner morality.
fancy curios. There is a almost like a viney looking whip. It has razor sharp thorns all along its length, and it seems to coil up for 10-15 feet or so.
Jungle dangles it in the air to tease Ashley.
What do you think, guys? Do you think it'll be a good upgrade to my basic whip?
Jungle think this is still stealing.
Pavo.
You've already taken something.
Nobody,
You've already taken
Jungle
something.
cracks a smile.
The
unless
action of
you want to roll perception against Chongo's stealth roll, you did not notice him steal the conch.
I would like to roll perception against Chungo's stealth roll.
Go for it, Chongo roll stealth.
Just have to beat your passive perception.
Passive or my passive perception?
Passive. Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but
You rolled a 12. I have passive perception to 14.
I'm gonna make you roll because it's
You're gonna make but
it's
my
funner.
passive perception
It's
is higher.
I'll
more fun for
it's
fail.
it's more fun for
No!
active rolls.
Fuck you.
There, that's
Jungle
that's why it's
successfully-
fun.
Jungle stole a thing without you knowing. So now Jungle has moral high ground.
Is Chungo speaking this all out loud?
Chungo has not spoken that out loud.
I'm persuading the two of you, and since I personally am terrible at persuading people, I'm just gonna roll persuasion because my persuasion is amazing.
You have charming
More.
guile. You're amazing at persuading people. That's a natural 20. What are you persuading?
To steal?
to convince them that taking the whip isn't stealing, because I'll leave my old one. I'll leave my old whip to collect this new whip. It's trading, it's bartering.
I might be old.
Chungo agrees on that perspective.
I just don't give a shit. I crawl out.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm losing internet.
I have a 7 at persuasion. I'll never get lower than
I'm
an
back.
8.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you said you'll be right back.
No, I'm back. I said I'm back. I was losing internet for a
Okay.
little bit.
Is
Yep.
Rolo coming back?
Unfortunately, she got kicked off the computer. I suggested she'll go on her phone and just chill in my room. Listen, I'm not gonna chase people. She's with you in spirit.
Okay. I just wanted to ask.
Yep.
What else is in there? Is that it so far?
There doesn't seem to be anything else within the chest. No.
Quick, Nevitz, we're stealing from this person.
My favorite
I thought
activity.
you grabbed the shiny balls for him.
Yeah, we grabbed the shiny balls from him. You
You
got
have
a lot of
to-
shiny
you
balls
really-
now, Nevitz.
You really gotta give him context of where you guys are.
No, Nevitz, you have
I
shiny balls
literally
now.
have
Get shiny
thousands
balls.
of tiny, shiny balls.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch
Awesome.
of tiny shiny balls.
How many?
They have, they're like marbles with like things inside of them.
5 of them.
Oh.
Chungo doesn't understand it. Chungo likes his conch instead.
Blood.
Yeah, one's blood. We're also in a bloody room.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like
A lot of
cave
fish
painting.
Stealing shiny things. My favorite activity.
Speaking
Alright,
of shiny
we
things,
push
I
the
want to
shiny things. Over.
shake Nevitz down for my money.
You don't know. He just leave it alone, man. You lost.
I was looking on your sheet. I was wondering where you got 30 gold from.
What are you talking about, Tom? I don't have 30 gold. It got stolen from me.
He buried it. He doesn't remember where he buried it.
There you go.
There you go.
If you're wondering where we're at, we're like underground, like about 10 feet underground below a tree we found on the roadside. Seems primal, marked with symbologies and stuff.
Now
There's
that Nevitz seems to be paying attention, we give him the thing with balls.
Thank you. Thank you.
before you is a wooden board that has inlays, 5 of them, carved into it. In each inlay lays what look like these glass marbles, about half the size of your palm. In each one is an element of nature. You see a mote of water, a mote of flame, a mote of earth floating, suspended inside, a sand, a small amount of pinch of sand that swirls at the center, and a mote of blood suspended in the glass. Just 5 elements laid out on the board. Seems arcane in nature, but you're not sure, as you're just stealing it.
Alright, is the chest empty?
We just found this in a random room underground.
Some person's house.
We found this in some person's house underground, yes.
Okay.
I just love it that
Do
you
we know?
guys are gonna go to the Elderheart Council, be like, oh yes, there's bandits on the road, they're stealing shit from people, it's terrible.
Tom, you're gonna give me the stats for my new whip, right?
Maybe.
Because I'm
Alright,
assuming with giant barbs on it, it has a better attack power than my basic whip.
It's a fair assumption. If, generally speaking, with magic items that unidentify, if they are magic in nature, you spend an hour identifying them over a short rest or more, and that kind of helps you research into them and find out their full potential without having to talk to any NPCs or key personnel that might explain it better. You know,
Okay, I'll do that next time. Thank you.
no problem.
What are we gonna do now, guys?
Oh, I'm getting the fuck out of this hole.
Jungo's going to check out more of this house.
Sure, giving in to your bandit instincts, you have an eye out for anything else that you might want to
Look
steal.
under the moss bed.
Earth? No stash. A few old fish bones from dinner days ago.
Jungle think this guy like to eat and sleep.
You know how people like lay on their side with like a vine of grapes, just like a fish hole.
Hear that with fish?
Yeah.
Jungle will check out the fish heads.
They've been caught. They're fresh, or fresh-ish. There's still undried blood coming from their heads, contrast to what the other splatters on the stone table. Fish heads. Common found in streams and other water sources around Humblewood. Perhaps the hot springs outside. Most likely, if they're this fresh.
Okay.
The only other water source you've seen is the shrine about a day's away, so unlikely from there.
Jungle's gonna check out the meat cleaver.
The meat cleaver is, as you would imagine, a chef's meat cleaver to be, but entirely made out of bone. Really, it seems to have been sharpened using another bladed instrument. It has like these grooves along its edge that make it almost like serrated. The handle has been wrapped in this leather strap to give it a good grip, and ends in this femur-like bulb to the bone. More of these draconic letters kind of decorate along the handle, and yeah.
Okay. That's about it. That's
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Alright.
about it. There's nothing else like interesting in this room other than those.
No, not per se. You've pretty much scoured it. You've given it a good 10 minutes to flip it upside down, and the chest is the most promising treasure, so to speak.
All right.
Do we know whose room this
Nope.
belongs to? Okay.
They think it's some sort of lizard folk. Like that actually exists.
I don't
What,
think a
like
lizard
humanoid-
would need to
what,
use
like
all of
humanoid
these sharp
lizard people?
tools
That's
to
just
butcher
silly.
their prey.
Right? Like no fur or no feathers. Alright. Jungle's getting out of cave.
Sure, you follow Pavo out of the cave. Pavo, you already kind of made it out. You look around you, and you, even from here, you can feel the heat coming from these pools of water beyond, these cascading pools coming from the waterfall onto a central pool, filling up and kind of cascading down in little mini waterfalls from pool to pool to pool. You see a steady misting of steam clouds along the surface, and ethereal shapes that swirl in the mist, almost like playing tricks on your eyes, or maybe not.
Jungle will go close to the pools, but not past the circle.
Sure. Something or someone lies still, submerged in the water. The shape of its head is reptile-like. The scales green with turquoise markings along the sides of its head. A bright orange fin that works its way from the middle of its snout all the way down its spine, furrows and unfurls with each of its breaths. You see the nostrils on its extended snout are just above the water, and they're making the water ripple with each exhale. The creature is asleep. To you, Chungo, non-believer that you are, it looks like a crocodile or something.
Jungle says there's crocodile in that water. You best not get in that water.
Though the pools are misty, you see a vaguely humanoid shape can be made out beneath the water surface. The pool seems to be no more than 4 feet deep, and the creature, its feet touch the bottom. And you see a large crocodile-like scaly tail can be seen extending behind it, and gently...
I wanna flip into the water.
Wait, what?
Jungle's gonna make sure that conch is a little farther down his outfit.
You want to do what in the water?
I'm gonna slip into the water.
You said different word.
I heard flip, and I was like, you want to cannonball it?
Slip.
Roll stealth.
I thought I heard him say flip also. It's like, what? You're
Yeah,
gonna just do a backflip?
What? Oh no!
Your foot, your tiny, tiny raptor foot, doesn't make it 2 inches into the water before you see the creature's reptilian eyelids open, revealing slit irises, paled by a milky surface that coats both eyes. And with this hiss, it slowly begins to rise from its slumber, and you see it. You see there's some sort of like lizard folk humanoid standing upright on its hind legs. Man, I don't know descriptions. It's like scaled over. It's wearing leather hides and decorated in ornaments, like bone braces, necklaces, and shamanistic trinkets of the like. In this whispering, hissing tone that sounds foreign and yet not
Like Final Fantasy, like the crocodile people from like Final Fantasy.
Sure, I'm not too familiar with those, but if that's what you imagine,
Fungus.
then that's the theater of the mind.
Let's leave.
And
But now, literally think like lizard folk, like a lizard that
I
is
can
a person.
show you a picture of him. I can actually.
I'd like to try to
wasn't
read
done
it in Elrin or Birdfolk.
Jungle would like to say, huh, that's an interesting
Corvin.
crocodile that can stand.
So as you freeze your toe 2 inches in the water, it addresses you directly, looking at you with its blind eyes. You see its nostrils sniff the air, and it speaks in this foreign language with a very non-threatening tone before finding the tongue which you speak. Throden Yosakorshauma Usksalviriskibesk. The wind brings scent of many strangers. Pine feather, cannabis, sea spray, ash leather, spell reek. The waters welcome all who bring tribute to Semohanya. Has it come to trade in what nature provides?
Yeah. I have a fine spear for tribute. I fish it out of my bag.
It approaches slowly, taking its time through the water, treading it, reaching out with a clawed hand.
Sorry, I had to have a second there for fucking Pavo.
Yeah. Cannabis brings gifts. And you see its claws trace along the spear up to the blade, and its claw makes a ringing bone on metal sound as it inspects the edge. A fine instrument, pilfered, not made by eye. And
No. There's a trophy from battle.
warriors, blessings upon this day. If you come here to trade, I would kindly lead you to my lair, where I have many goods to sell. I make all manner of goods from that which no longer breathes. Daggers, knives, short blades and axes, shields made out of bone and shell.
And what are the cost of these items?
I, as my people, have no need for coin, for it is useless. Goods, trade, meat, hides, fish, anything nature provides, I will trade you for.
Perhaps I could get a fine longbow.
Ah, the warrior
How much is-
asks for high rewards. For those, my friend, I have a different proposition. If you seek something beyond simple hide armor and the like that it describes, there is always the way of my people. You may earn the weapon through the endless hunt. These items that I describe are no more than tools of survival, but it is the hand that wields them that matters most. And if it seeks to acquire gifts worthy of greater warriors, a trial can be held to test whether it is predator or prey. The eminence of the hunt will earn the apex among you, a gift from Semo Anya himself.
Jungle could use big bone hammer.
Yes. What would we be hunting? Lizard man.
He
Standing sentient crocodile.
kind of rolls back his shoulder and stands up straight. You hear the of like spine bones as he opens up both palms and presents. You will be hunting Zru.
Is that a spider snake by chance?
He's speaking of himself.
I'm hunting you.
Yes,
Jungle don't want to hurt you or kill you.
it is
Like
but a trial.
Okay.
A fight, a duel of some sort, a sort of, you know, how when people spar and they stop right before the blade touches throat kind of thing. He's willing to sell minor items for simple trade, but if you wish for something greater, it's through the trial.
Fuck yeah.
I see.
I might be old, but a little sparring is never too much.
Ruru is
Before we
ancient
get-
as well, but a warrior is not defined by the years that he lived, but the years that he fought. Go on.
Before we get started with the trial, what will you trade for cocaine?
Okay.
What is this cocaine that you...
Don't let him try it,
Speak
Nevitz. Don't give him a
of.
buff
Oh,
before
is-
battle.
It is the most amazing condiment you will ever
Condiment.
find. You put it on anything that you eat, it's hundreds of times better.
He seems
Anything that you
dismissive.
consume.
At first, he's like, I have no use in flavoring, for it brings no survival use to someone such as I. Does it have any benefits to a hunter or a warrior or a shaman who speaks to the spirits beyond?
You will see things you've never seen before.
It's a hallucinogenic.
Roll persuasion. Spellrick speaks of intriguing things, things that in all my ages I've experienced not. I am willing to trade my goods for some of this cocaine. His
I
tongue
just,
flickers out.
I
On
need to
one
finish making it.
condition.
Honestly.
On one condition. I only trade with honest folk. You see, I stayed here, for Humblewood lives up to its name at most times. Those who wrong me don't survive long enough to enjoy that which they pilfered. He sniffs about you. Spell.
Jungle quickly puts the thing back in the hole. Jungle backs up.
Jungle, you want to rule like sleight of hand?
Jungle is very scared right now for his life.
Very slowly and calmly, as you go to like yeet it away from yourself, with a speed that you didn't expect from such an old lizard folk. He just shoots his hand out. It darts toward your wrist, catches it, and with the other hand, it just the item out of your hand, and he is holding it in his claws. Studies it with his blind eyes. You will earn this, should you win the trial. You will not rob me if you know what's good for you.
Not gonna lie, Chungo just thought no one lived here.
May your perception be better during the hunt than it was during the pilfering of my home.
Chungo apologizes.
It is really up to you guys, whether you wish to just trade in simple goods. Cocaine will be simple goods as well. Or earned items that you pilfered. As he sort of he pockets the conch into a side satchel.
Chungo's gonna be, Chungo would do something dumb because Chungo doesn't understand how thick that hide is on Juju.
Mm-hmm.
And Chungo's gonna start undressing down to pants.
Juju thanks his lucky stars that he's blind.
Chungo getting ready to fist fight Juju for item.
Find me when the moon has reached its zenith. And he points toward a section of the pools that you see now has these torches that flicker with like this green enchanted flame, and a whole bunch of fireflies like gathered. At this point, you guys have about an hour or two before the moon is at its highest peak. Eliza's just sitting there beaming like ear to ear at this creature.
Is the point
Headset
pointed
about to
at?
die. Headset about to die. Hmm?
Hi, is the point that he pointed at past the circle on the ground?
It is what the circle encompasses. It seems to be like sort of a hot spring arena of sorts.
So I'm gonna look at the circle for a bit and contemplate going over there.
Sure. Well, what do the rest of you do in preparation for this trial, should you wish to undertake it?
I would
I should
like
probably-
to persuade Juju that I would like to continue the trade that I had initiated while investigating his chamber, and to see if he would find that sufficient trade.
What are you training for? Sorry, I must have missed it.
The whip.
What are you... Okay, so again, the whip is part of the curio collection. All the items within the chest were rewards given to those who do win in the arena of the eternal hunt against them.
He won't trade it for it with me.
No, it is rewards for warriors, for mighty hunters, not to be given away to just anybody, kind of thing. He does sell mundane things like sausage links and meats and dried jerky and whatnot, and along the lines of that. But these items are made by him and enchanted by him and by his whatever deity he prays to. And
I guess I'll have to battle him. I got no way of beating him, but I'll give it a try.
all right, anybody abstaining from this?
I'm not gonna abstain, but before we start, I don't have cocaine on me yet. I need to finish making it. I prepared the ingredients to make the cocaine last session.
Is this one-on-ones, or are we all fighting him together?
You're all fighting him. He takes you on
Oh.
as a group.
So I'll roll with my alchemist supplies.
Chungo's now contemplating putting armor back on.
I actually don't have armor. Fun fact of the day.
Now, you know what? Win or lose, Chungo fight with Chungo Fist.
Do we still have the opportunity to prepare before this?
Yes, you have an hour or two before the moon is at its zenith. I'm just putting you guys on a map.
Great.
Because you're allowed to enter this side of the arena. But,
Wait.
yeah.
I'm re-rolling. There we go. That's some good ass cocaine.
You dry and ground. I don't know what goes into the process of making cocaine, but whatever it is, you have a good, hefty, tradable amount of it in your possession. This hallucinogenic drug. I don't know what the effects of cocaine is. I can't even describe it. So
I don't know either. We're going.
cool.
We're just going.
What do you do to prepare?
I would like to cover myself in local flora and fauna, is to basically become a bush.
Sure.
I'm gonna start with a layer of mud, which
I
I'll
think my
wet with
computer's having
distilled
trouble
water,
loading this.
and then from
can
there I'll
zoom out
cover
a little.
myself in things.
Okay.
I'd also like to poison tip all of my arrows.
You have poison?
I do.
What kind of poison?
You never said. It just says vial of poison. Perhaps I put something in the description. I did not.
Because you didn't put
Wow.
anything in the description, I'm going to say that if on hit, the poison deals an additional 1d4 poison damage.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna unequip things I don't need for this fight.
Are we allowed to ask for like specific rewards for passing this trial or no?
You will get to pick one
Okay. All right.
for the entire group.
Oh, okay.
I would like to mention, if it wasn't obvious enough already, that with his perception, he does know what you stole from him, and if you wish to be honorable in this trial, you will return that which you stole, or he will face you off either way. He just, when in a duel, the blade stops just before it hits the throat, he makes it pretty clear that he's just not going to stop.
Well, I haven't
the
equipped
hunt.
it yet, so I will leave it at the edge of the pool when we approach to signify that this is the item that I would like to fight for.
Again, you guys will pick one for the entire group among the collection.
One item for the whole group, or one
Correct.
each?
One for the whole group. Yep.
Well, I guess that means I should just hang back and wait till everyone's knocked out and do this myself.
You could.
Pavo is going to go incognito as Bush.
Yeah?
Jungle will start going forward.
Okay, Pavo is... Alright. Alright.
Oh well,
Jungle
Pavo gonna
understands
act
what honor is.
bush inside bushes. Like, come on.
That's not a bush, my friend. That is a tree. Do you climb it?
Well, I am a bush by a tree. I am now in top of the tree.
You
Shall
climb
I
the
roll
tree?
stealth? Yes.
Can you make me a perception check as you climb the tree, please?
Oh, I hope he's not in the tree. That would be
No, he's like way at the top.
inconvenient if he is in this tree.
I don't even see a tree on the map. I don't see a tree.
We're kind
You
of
hear
like
it,
lining the center of the map.
Kindly
You're
remain
next-
where you are on the map. I can only handle one thing at a time. In fact,
That's
you know
fine.
what? Since you guys are so keen on moving already, I'll have you roll initiative now.
Oh no.
Thank you.
Pavo trips a landmine in the tree and blows up.
As you climb the canopy, climbing up the tree, you are about 10 feet off the ground. Traversing the canopy is easy enough for you using your talents. As you leap from branch to branch to maneuver your way up, you fail to notice that the bark itself on top has a series of these needles that have the sappy fluid flowing from their tips.
Oh shit.
And I'll make you roll me a dexterity save, please.
It's 21.
In the last second, you manage to maneuver your talents that way they don't completely lodge into the needles, but you do manage to graze your needles as you take half of this, and for the next 10 minutes you feel this woozy feeling. Your gut swirls as you are.
5 or 5?
So like you take 2 poison damage and you're poisoned.
Gucci.
It seems that the arena has already been rigged. With that, I'm gonna have him roll initiative as well. Sweet home Alabama. Okay, top of the round.
I think some people were supposed to be on the other side, right?
So it is up to you where you start. You can start anywhere within the first 2 squares of the bottom of this map. That's how when you enter arena. As soon as you enter, you know what? I'm gonna forego initiative for now. You guys can act freely until I decide so. Let me just get set and ready. I didn't realize you guys were gonna go. As the night father's wings cover the night sky and the moon rises to its zenith, torches set into the ground ignite with green flames, guiding you down toward Jujru's arena of the endless hunt. You see fireflies that hover above the pools of the hot spring, dimly illuminating the night, especially for you, Luma. Little Nefets, you squint in the dark. You can't see this. It's too dark, and you don't have any light source on you, to my information. So you're just aided by these luminous bugs. Sitting under the waterfall at the far end of the arena, you see the outline of Jujru, who's awaiting your arrival. His face is covered by war paint. You see a single line, kind of almost drawn in chalk, drawn from the bottom of his jaw down to his throat, and primal symbols of the hunt cover his body. Juju does not stir from this place. He sits there, cross-legged and eyes closed, patient as an alligator awaiting its prey. An ornamental blade can be seen, it's just made out of bone, and rests on his lap. You are free to move for now. So what do you do?
Are there fountains or something on the way up there? What are the?
I don't know what these are. Okay, so these are pools. These are hot springs, right? So these are pools of water. They have steam coming off them. These, please just ping. Don't make extra markings.
I don't know how to ping. I've been trying to figure that out. I can't figure it out.
You just hold down the mouse button.
There you go. Okay, these things.
So these things. How about you roll investigation as you approach them? Okay, so you note the obvious. It's a circular metal plate with a turned down rim that hangs before you, suspended by rope and tied to an altar resting on a raised dais made of stone.
Is it like a balance?
It's like a gong, but I don't know what a gong is in the game.
I mean, if you know what a gong is, you know what a gong is. Yeah.
It's a gong. Make loud noise.
Gong go gong, oddly enough.
Do you think they symbolize anything? There's 2 of them on the map.
They,
Think we should do anything with them?
They make noise.
I mean, can we see past this?
You see, as you would see past a tree line, semi-obscured, and probably aiming through them with any spell or range weapon would be kind of difficult. But you see what you see on the map. If I look at your vision, yeah. It's kind of dark in the canopy, and you see that Pavo is half obscured between the branches, but yeah.
Do you think there's a ritual we need to do before going up to him?
Perhaps. We're all on the same side.
Oh, how many?
I find it strange that there's a tree line splitting this map.
Jungle has an idea. Jungle will be right back.
What you should do in Jungle?
Chungo's going here.
I will proceed over here with Chungo as well.
Climbing off the tree, you are carefully maneuvering.
I'll stay on this roof.
You onto the roof. Roll me either acrobatics with advantage because you have talents, or whatever else can be appropriate as you kind of maneuver over the roof, just to see how well you cling on.
19.
Yeah, 19, no problem. You just cling on with your talents. Chungo, as you maneuver over to the gong, what do you do?
I'm gonna look at if there's any symbols on the chong.
Investigation, perception, whichever one is the highest for you. Symbols wise, yes, there's more of that draconic writing along it. But just roll me at perception or So, as you approach the stone dais and your foot lands on the first step, one of the bricks that makes the dais' floor seems off, raised slightly higher than the rest. Unfortunately for you, stepping upon this raised brick, you feel it sink underfoot. You feel a slight vibration as some sort of mechanism below triggers before a mallet suspended overhead swings from a rope and strikes the gong at the center, producing a loud ringing sound.
Bang.
I wonder if I can do this. I think.
Or eardrums like the gun.
Do you have a soundboard, Tom?
No, I have ambiance though. So.
Evan, you shouldn't go too far from me to make sure that you can see close enough or far enough.
So Chungo, as you cover your ears from this loud ring, you see, in response to this noise, and you hear, Ruru mutters an incantation under his breath. This flowing S's and hissing tongue, and he throws several sharp, thorns into the flames before him, and as they burn, a spell takes effect, and the ground around you twists and begins to sprout vines lined with hard, jagged, spiked thorns.
Jungle understands that.
What exactly do you understand?
We must
you
be deemed
understand?
worthy.
Dude's blind.
We should not announce our presence as we approach him.
The hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Should we just do initiative then?
I'll tell you. It's free movement from here. You guys do what you will as a party. He doesn't seem to move from where he is. He's just patiently waiting and responding to the arena. Chungo, as you maneuver 10 feet through these vines, I'm going to have you take 44 piercing damage, 2d4 for every 5 feet traveled, as you try and avoid the best of these twisting heart spikes and thorns. You take 7 piercing damage. That's actually not bad. It's like 3 ones. Yeah.
Alright.
Jungle's feet hurt.
Ow.
Jungle feet hurt.
I'm gonna try to make my way.
Sure. As you leap off onto the slippery rock, you manage to keep your footing. I'm still surfing on that 19 acrobatics as your small body flutters and glides down toward the rock. You maneuver there.
Yeah, I can glide, right?
Remember that you make ability checks with disadvantage because you're poisoned. Yes, you can glide.
Can I glide to here?
You can glide up to if you fall 10 feet and up to your movement speed until you reach the ground, sort of like a 5x5 slope. You reach about where you are with that glide. So, Chungo, as you step before the bridge before you, you see a wooden bridge before you that arcs above a water stream that flows from one pool to the other and to the one below it. Make me another perception or investigation check.
I'm not going over it yet. That's why I stopped before it.
Yes, that's what I figured.
Jungle know that gonna creak.
Plucking the thorns from your foot and kind of gingerly stepping, you leave a few blood marks on the wood. Some of them creak, some of them don't. What did you roll there?
Oh, I'm not going over the bridge yet.
Okay. But
Chungo's thing. This is not that big, is it?
no.
Chungo's just gonna try to step over it.
Sure. Step over it. What did the rest of you do? Nevitz and Ashling.
This is a stone wall, right? How tall is it?
It's not a stone wall, it's more like rocks along the edge of the hot spring. It's about 3 feet high. It's easily stepped up to and stuff.
That's taller than me.
Sure, but like you can maneuver up to it. It is difficult terrain a little bit, but you know, you can manage to climb it.
Okay.
What do you?
I'm
What
gonna
do you do?
investigate this like
N-
this, whatever this is.
It
Looks like
it
a
seems to be
teapot.
some sort of a bottle of incense. You see like this smoke coming off it, aromatic. Rumi can't save.
Oh no.
Me?
Yes. The fumes sting your nostrils and make your eyes water. Just a Constitution save.
Con.
Jungle
Life with me, I can't find Con. Where's Con?
What is your Constitution modifier for your save? It's up.
Oh, there it is,
Uplift.
up there.
Yeah,
I just need to find it.
beside the sting of your sensitive snout, you just kind of reel back from the fumes, and you don't suffer any damage, but it seems to be some kind of evaporating, poisonous fume. Okay, you leave
Jungle
it
would
alone.
like to roll stealth to get into this water.
Go ahead.
Is this deep at all?
It seems about 4 feet deep, so almost up to your waist. A little deeper.
Okay, good. Right. Jungle will stealth slowly into the.
You gasp as your foot touches the water. The water is scalding hot, but you know, like uncomfortably so. But not enough to boil you alive, obviously. Just like hot spring hot. So you manage to hold your breath, the gasp, as you enter and
And
you
then
stealth
Jungle
through.
will, will beefcake it also and go slowly under the water and then back out of it.
That actually helps you kind of accustom it. Actually, you know what? While you're under the water, roll me a perception with disadvantage because the water is murky with whatever elements are in it, and you don't have like underwater vision like a fish or whatever. So just like a perception with disadvantage.
Okay, give me a second.
As
Disadvantage?
you step across the pool floor carefully and to make too much sound. The water's too murky to see underneath and stings a little on the eyes, but you come up and the wind suddenly like feels cool in your face because in contrast to the warm waters, it's actually quite relaxing under the water here.
And now Jungle also not smell.
Yeah,
I mean, not really, but
because of that
That's what
stealth
Chunk
check,
likes.
I'm gonna say that as you maneuver your way, your foot almost slips on a smooth rock covered in slimy lichen, but you manage to not trip in the water and cause a splash or anything, so you stealth on through.
Alright, that's all I'm gonna do for now for people.
Sure. The rest of you guys, what's up?
I'm just hiding behind a rock wall, waiting to take my action.
Sure. You hide. You see the fireflies kind of converge on your location for a little bit as you grow still and land on your feathers and your bare skin where the feathers didn't quite come in just yet. One of them lands on
Oh,
your
right.
glass, and as it flies off, it leaves a little mark, some white substance. You're not sure what it was, but yeah.
They just shit on me?
It could be something other than shit.
Rumi can't save.
Oh no.
You're
Ash-
pregnant.
Ashling, as you proceed past the gong toward the green flames of the brazier on either side of you, what do you do?
I'm gonna go here, but I wanna see if I can see anything in the flames.
In the what? In the flames? Staring in, you're not sure whether it's like the thick mist in the air that seems to deprive you of a little bit of that essential oxygen or the fumes you just inhaled. But yeah, you seem to see these savage figures dancing within the flames, imp-like, reptilian-like, almost like salamanders, wild and dressed in leathers and spears and shooting arrows from the bows up in the air. The arrows be embering and becoming these sparks that float up toward the night sky and dissipate as sparks do. It's trippy. Whatever magic is keeping these flames seems to be really vibing with the whole air of the place.
A battle to come. That's what I'm saying.
Just
past battles.
off past hunts of the way of the lizard folk, the people and their savage ways, very primal and caveman like, dancing around the fire. Just I'm not sure if it's just a trick of the mind or an actual spell.
Jungle trying to think of way up to him. Like, do I have to go into here, or do I have to go like around into this spot?
Go into the weird
The
smoky stuff.
pools slope up steadily, 5 feet at a time. He's sitting on top of a 5-foot ledge by 2 large braziers. The mist are 2 fog clouds that seem to kind of stream out from the waterfall and obscure vision a little bit, but you can see his silhouette past the flames. You have the trees, you have the rocks to climb. You see like a little rooftop over yonder. It's really up to you how you approach this.
Do we have to be at the top to fight him?
That's up to you. You can fight him now, for all I care. I'm mechanically out of character. I'm keeping watch of this line here, and as soon as one of you crosses it, I'm gonna start initiative, because he's patiently waiting.
Well, I would like to get up in this tree, making note of the possible spikes.
So I'm gonna give you advantage because you already know that the trees are trapped, but it's disadvantage because you're poisoned. So a normal perception roll just to see how well you avoid additional thorns. You managed to indeed avoid additional thorns, carefully maneuvering up the tree. You're about 10 feet off the ground, half obscured. You yourself are half obscured, giving you +2 to your AC, but shooting outwards also obscures other targets because you're shooting through branches. Luckily for you, though, that doesn't matter because you're a raptor and you treat, I believe, in your features, you treat half cover as no cover. So
yes,
you're golden.
Nice.
You're in your element actually.
Keen sense.
But you have +2 to your AC because you're half obscured, so 15 AC.
It is.
I'll keep that in mind.
Jungle has 11 AC right now.
Because you don't have your armor on?
Yep.
Which is why I wasn't giving you disadvantage on your stealth checks.
Woodland hunter, by the way.
Yes. And this counts as... I would say where you are counts as woodland, among the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much the spy area, but like, yes.
Oh, that's just what it's called.
Oh, I thought you meant like
It's
the...
just what the trait's called.
No, it literally just says you treat 3/4 as a half cover and
Right.
half cover is no cover.
Yes.
Anyway, I would just like to ready an action to shoot the lizard man whenever he moves.
Whenever he moves. Sure thing. Anybody else does anything before Chungo pretty much triggers initiative on top of the round?
I'll blast him with a ray of frost.
Hey, starting it early.
Okay.
Seen it?
What's your range on Ray of Frost? I'm just curious.
I definitely have enough. What's the spell range?
Is it 120? No, it's like 60.
Crazy.
It's 60, but I took spell sniper as the feat
Oh,
I created.
no.
with
Well,
character.
there you go. You
yeah,
have
you're taking...
There you go. Does Spell Sniper do anything besides increase range?
It also gives me an extra cantrip.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
It was
I was
Levi's
wondering regarding
first
AC, but
spell.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I ignore cover.
Yeah.
You ignore cover?
Yeah.
No.
Dead ass? Jesus, okay.
That's what Spell Sniper does. It's dope.
Well,
Remember? Levi at the start.
I missed.
Rolling a... That is to hit, right? 6,
Still
okay.
bad
Yep.
rolls.
As your projectile sails through the air, it hits one of the tree branches over yonder and just kind of shatters before it ever reaches. You see the tree branch, like, insta-frost, what do you call it? Flash freeze and snap off into the pool of water. And where it lands, you see Jujuru, again, casting his incantation. He sprouts more of those thorns that just kind of curl out of the pool into the pool and throw out and sprouting these spiky thorns.
Just getting used to the lighting in the room.
In the room, huh?
With that, I'm gonna say Trent, go ahead, top of the round.
All right.
I'm gonna change the music a little bit.
Jungle's going Is there any rocks nearby me that I can lift up that are sufficiently
Some of the
big?
rocks along the pool do seem like they're kind of loose.
I'm gonna pick up a bigger one and throw it over here. So like in this square, technically.
Okay. You go ahead and roll like athletics.
Jungle roll athletics.
Yeah.
Not disadvantage. Ignore that. I forgot to turn
Yeah.
off.
So with a 14, yeah, you manage to heave it. It kind of clings against the rocks over yonder and rolls into the pool, and you see the vines that have just now sprouted because he already used his reaction for this round. You see the vines on let's kind of like maneuver toward the rock and sort of wrapping around the rock and lacerate along its surface with their thorns and they envelop it.
All right, and then Jungle will slowly move up to this stairs.
Without armor, you have 30 feet of movement. Remember.
I know. I'm just cautious.
Actually, it doesn't matter because you're not encumbered. I'm so used to the previous campaign. Nevets, it is your turn once more. Just give me a second. I don't know why he's not in initiative roll. Where is he? Okay, there we go. Actually, Juju. So, actually, what did I roll for Juju at the first? Because I didn't roll an 18. So, Nevets, go ahead. I'm looking up previous initiative. It was 9. Okay.
Okay. Nevets, now that he has like a general idea of like the lighting in the room, how things are gonna work out, he pulls out his diamond, the shiniest diamond that he's ever bought, the BGP diamond, and it begins to glow a blue color as he casts chromatic orb, and electric streaks. He doesn't have feathers right now. Electric streaks, sort of like they seem to gather around the. See, they seem to gather around the diamond as I use Tides of Chaos to gain advantage on this hit.
Yep.
Well,
Oh, didn't hit. It didn't hit. Oh wow. How did I roll 2 6s?
As the bolt shimmers in multicolors, it sails through the air, and Juju quickly turns his head toward it, and you see two like gleaming like moon white eyes focus on it, and one of the vines shoots upwards and just pierces it in the air and slithers back down, withering.
Impressive.
As you approach closer to Juju, you see him rise to his feet and raise his claws skyward in a sign of praise. The fires throughout and nearby you, Ashling, start to flicker more intensely as he channels an incantation to his god. Semuanya, hear my call. Grant me your blessing this night of the hunt. The shaman's words ring out with like this thaumaturgic echo as the moon's light is briefly shrouded by a large shadow flying about 60 feet overhead, obscured kind of in the night. As he does this, you see that the vines that he conjured, like, wreathe back into the earth and dissipate. Instead replaced by a large winged creature. This fey-like trail just behind it. It seems almost like a spirit, this semi-translucent figure, wide-winged, and just savage winged behemoth. And as it dives down from its reptilian beak, you can hear a high shriek. It rules its own initiative. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Zhruzhru stands up, so Pavo, your held action triggers. Your poison arrow knocked in the bow. You want to shoot him as soon as it stands up.
Awesome. Ba-zoom. Trash. I rolled a 9.
Well,
Well, you miss the arrow sailing past him, just under his armpit and into the waterfall as you notch another arrow in your bow, preparing for your next turn. Right after Ashling. Ashling, go ahead.
I'm gonna take one of my ball bearings and I'm going to throw it into the pool. No. Give me my thingy.
Sure.
There it goes. Like,
Sure, you take one of your bell bearings and it goes plop. And even through the shriek and the fire's sound as it burns, the hunter's innate senses catch the sound, and you see him focus upon it, squint his eyes, and the fey spiritual beast above seems to react to the sound and turn its head and begin diving toward it. Is there anything else you wish to do on your turn?
so the creature's heading towards where I threw the ball bearing.
Yeah, it seems to be just diving from 60 feet toward this direction. Just bomb diving.
I think I can move that far. I'm gonna go in. I'm going to go take at least semi-cover underneath this tree bush thing here
Sure.
somewhere.
Sure thing. As you maneuver through the rocks, you hear the board beneath you creak. I'm gonna have you make a dexterity save, please.
Oh, I also realized I have an extra thingy. I have this. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yep, it does make a difference. You can add your intelligence modifier to your saves. I believe it's already included. We'll confirm when you roll it.
Is it?
I believe, yes. Because you're a rogue and you're using a rogue. Yes. it
Because
is.
my dexterity says 4 and then my intelligence is 3. So.
Okay, so it'd be 23 because it's
So
not doing
that would
it.
be 23. With 23 dexterity save, as your foot pushes off the creaking board, it snaps, but you manage to swiftly maneuver in a roguelike fashion away from this trap. You saw it along the walls, these bare jaws that form to a bare trap that just clasp and barely graze your foot, and then sink into the water beneath with a splash. Yeah, and you...
Oh, wait, is it intelligence with proficiency bonuses on top? It's like the whole thing?
No, you don't get
Yeah.
proficiency bonus on
Okay, so then
saves.
it's 1. My intelligence is 1.
Okay.
Because I proficient.
Well, either way you made it. Either way you made it. If you're making a hide action, go ahead and roll to hide. So that will be stealth versus the perception of whoever seeks you out. Okay. All right. You've been seen, but you managed to hide somewhat in the foliage, granting you a little bit of cover from the other side of the pools. As Pavo, you have your arrows notched and ready. What is your turn?
If I fire the laser.
Knock your arrow, pull back the string, fire with a 14. It hits.
Zah!
Plus 1d4 of poison damage.
7 damage.
Total of 7 damage.
Is he poisoned now?
Well, how about this? Because I didn't specify. He manages to resist the poison and hold on to the spell that seems to have summoned this beast above you all. But nonetheless, he took the damage, and you see him cringe. He turns to you and he gives you like a nod of respect, like a good hit.
Oh yes,
As-
thank you for shooting me in the kidney.
The way of the hunt. All right, onwards to Chungo.
How hot does this water look? Does it look more steamy than the rest of the waters? Or?
No, seems as steamy to you.
Okay. Can I use half my movement speed to like get into the water super slow and under it?
like commando style,
So, like-
sure, yeah, you can maneuver slower. I'll give you like an advantage on a stealth check if you want to hide.
Okay, I want to get under the water for my turn.
Sure, holding your breath as well. Yep.
Advantage on stealth. Go.
That'll be a natural 20. You just go, like Apocalypse Now. You just dive past your
It's
eyes,
super-
and the last you see is Chungo's like blue frill on his head disappear below the water surface as you maneuver half your
As
speed.
far as I can go. Okay.
You make a
I won't do that.
nano sound. Yep. Don't quite see above you the water, but he doesn't hear you. And that's good because as you stealth underwater, you see this winged white span of wings shadow over you and miss you as it dives past the flames toward where Aisling dropped the ball bearing, and
Yeah.
it just glazes the water with its feet, hitting nothing, and then turns and lands here, like it's on its hind legs, and you see it has two clawed hands that are attached to its leathery wings, almost bat-like. It is huge, and so much is loosened and kind of shimmering with greens and blues. That is its turn because it just attacked water. Nevets.
All right. Seeing that this guy dodged my chromatic orb last turn, Nevitz comes to the conclusion that he needs something a bit more unpredictable. And looking at the hunter, he casts Chaos Bolt.
I hope you summon an eldritch being, Nivets.
He was right to choose.
So
This music.
as you aim, you're trying to aim past the creature because it is so huge. It is posing a little bit of disadvantage, but even an 18 manages to just thread the needle as you send your Chaos Bolt. What did you rule? Because Chaos Bolt depends on the dice rolled, right? Did you roll matching dice?
No, it's just a 2 and an A, so it doesn't bounce.
What's the damage type?
The damage type
Roll your
is
spells.
cold.
Okay, as another icy orb sails and hits for a 13 damage there, it just freezes, sets her chest, and spreads out in this permafrost pattern. And you see that Juju has trouble like remaining on his feet as he rolls to save concentration his spell. It is such a damaging blow that the beast dissipates and the spell is dropped.
Nevitz uses a lot of cold damage attacks. He's traumatized by fire.
Fair enough. Juju in response growls, and you see him go on all fours as he begins to shift, his scales kind of shimmering and bursting as you see his whole self ship-shaped into a large crocodilian beast.
Shit. He is a crocodile.
Chung was underwater being like, told you,
Told you.
crocodiles. There's no such thing as a lizard.
And then you see that the crocodile's eyes are no longer glazed, they're slitted, and they're adjusting to the night. And looking about, the crocodile dives into the pool behind them and disappears under the water.
Oh shit.
Dang it.
Aisling, it is your turn.
Wait, I would like to also state that I'm still like hiding behind this wall of rock. So like if I don't know if he tries to attack me, I got like half cover, 3/4 cover, something like that.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I'd like to continue advancing using the trees and bushes as cover.
Sure. For as far as you know, you're pretty well hidden.
I don't know how far have I gone? I think that's as far as I can go. I don't know if I'm impeding
You have 10 more
by
feet of
that. Am I not impeded by the bushes?
No, you're traveling beneath the tree. Just steady ground beneath them.
I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna stop in between the torches.
Sure thing. Is that the end of your turn?
And I'd like to get my whip in hand.
No. Okay. Pavel, go for it. Pavel, can you roll me a Constitution saving throw? To see if you can shake off the poison in your gut. No. Still feeling queasy, but wiping the sweat off your brow, you're still able to aim your bow.
Thank God. Vading!
What are you shooting at?
With disadvantage.
What are you shooting at?
And also, what are you shooting at? you can tell me. You can answer the question. That's not a rhetorical one.
I am aiming at this pot, and I aim to knock it to the ground.
Okay. Roll again, because you're rolling attacks with disadvantage or poison. 12. Yeah, you managed to, with a ping, you hit the pot, and it spills to the ground into this smaller, a little bit smaller, like a 10 by 10. Yeah, just like a 10 by 10 smoke cloud of poisonous fumes.
Lovely.
Seems to
I'd like
rise.
to make my way to this tree.
Okay. Using the same rule as before, you managed to avoid any additional branches from piercing your talons as you carefully, in your element, maneuver through the tree line. That's the end of your turn.
Yes.
Okay, Chungo, I'm gonna have you roll me a disadvantageous perception, as you're still underwater and in the murky water.
That's not one.
You, like something straight out of Jaws, you just saw a dark shape dart at the edge of your vision, but it's too blurry underwater, and you're not quite sure what it was. Have not witnessed him even transform.
Alright. Chungo clearly not noticing nothing, doesn't yet. Chungo slowly goes over to this rock ball and slowly gets out of the water.
Okay, and
And Chungo's gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you see he has disappeared, and before you is just a small stream of water that seems to kind of zigzag between the rocks, leading to 5 feet up. You still have enough movement to climb that if you so wish.
Yeah, I was
Beyond-
going to climb up to the rocks,
Okay.
but not in the brazier.
All right. So, thanks to the brazier, even though there's a fog cloud there, you see a silhouette of something large just chilling here. It's large. It is like 10 feet in length, and it's broad and somewhat familiar from the swamps.
Familiar from the swamps. Chungo roll anything to like see better in there, or?
I'm still using the
Like if
natural
I,
light
like,
perception.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That works then. Chungo will
Okay.
flatten himself closer to the rocks and slowly go across more.
Are you going prone?
No, Chungo will just crouch.
All right. Nevitz. Last you saw Juju, he transformed, leapt into the waters behind him, out of sight.
Yep. I'm gonna perch my head up over this rock wall, and I'm preparing another chaos bolt to fire when I see him appear.
All right. No problem.
It worked last time, so
Sure. You prepare an action to fire as soon as you see him emerge from before you. With spell sniper, I'm going to allow that because you're, again, each of you are kind of placing yourself in your element, which is perfect because just as you do that, Chungo, you come face to face with a humongous alligator that was been just chilling in his fog here. Its snout first dark spot in the fog, and then the maw opens up as he attempts to take a bite out of you. Does a 6 hit? No.
Oh, Chungo holds the fucking mouth
The
closed.
jaws open as they're mere inches away from your face.
Oh.
Okay. The hunt continues. Oh, druids are shitty. They lose a lot of the turn if they transform. Okay, Ashlyn.
Oh, I took my prepared.
Right, sorry, go ahead and roll
Oh.
that.
So that's him. Thank you.
That hits. It hits and
yes,
it hits.
17. See
So,
text.
tell me your dice, because I don't see them. Is it matching dice? Is it
says-
damage type?
4 and
Nope,
8,
it's
not mashing.
It's force. It does force damage. I
You don't like that thunder now, do you, huh?
just don't want it to be too loud. You know, Chungo's right there. I'm trying to be a bit considerate.
Should have electrocuted him in the water.
It hits the crocodile for a solid 17 damage. I'm just going to remove this for my sake. Okay. The crocodile before you now looks really bloodied. Whatever force just worked through it really shredded inside and outside because you're holding its mouth open. Some of it working through inside, and you see like lacerations and some of the teeth get knocked out, and it just retaliates with an angry hiss. Aisling, it's your turn.
I'm going to put my whip back on my hip and take out my short bow, and dip it in my oil flask, and then ask Claire to sneeze on it, lighting it ablaze.
Oh, that's cute.
And then I'd like to shoot at the crocodile.
Sure thing. Roll to hit. If it hits, it will deal additional D4 of fire damage. As you ignite the arrow.
Is it a sneak since I'm behind the brazier?
You get sneak action because you have Chungo right there, and sure, because you're hiding. Yeah, we can flavor it as such. As long as you have an enemy of your enemy near your enemy, you get sneak attack. 13. How come I don't see AC? Okay, show me that AC, baby.
Crocodile, I see.
It hits. Yes, it hits for and as the arrow. Where are you aiming at on this thing?
I'm gonna aim for his eye.
Aiming right at the eye. You
No,
hit.
it's important.
You hit it right there. It bursts, and you see like this jelly like come out of it, and it begins to sizzle as the wound starts to slowly. What do you call it when you burn a wound? Cauterize.
Cauterize.
Cauterize. Yeah, it's
Also,
begins to-
3 fire damage added to that.
Yeah. And it
do you
begins to
wanna
writhe, and Chungo, you're still holding the jaws in your grasp. The jaws begin to shrink, and the crocodile itself begins to shrink and transforms back to that of the lizardfolk token. And you're holding him by his jaws.
Chungo's gonna let go of the jaws.
Okay.
Just
Pub-
to,
Yep.
but just because now that's awkward.
Now kiss. Pavo, go ahead and roll that Constitution saving throw to see if you can shake off that poison. Nope, it's a bad time. You like you puke a little. You're like, but
Oh, alright.
whatever poison is in these needles is bad stuff.
Do you hear Pavo through the tree branches? Do you submit? Lizard.
Do you submit?
Engrossed in the hunt, and in this like almost like a blood rage, the shaman seems to be keen on just ripping Chungo apart. It's just like this. It's like this.
Sorry, Chungo, my shots suck.
Chungo, okay. Chungo, understand.
Even with your skill, it's kind of awkward to aim
Wait,
past
do
Chungo's
we
massive
have
form.
Flanking, as by the 5e rules.
Yes, but
No.
nobody's flanking him right now.
You'd have to be here.
Yes.
Right.
Right. With that, Chungo, what do you do? As you let go of the jaw, and you see Juju like reach for his blade and like scrape his claws against it.
Okay. Chungo's going to attack with his talons. He's going in a more claw.
Claw for claw. Dope.
Yeah, just 12 hit.
As you bring out your claws, like, and he can't even see it. That's a shame.
Oh.
I was gonna be like, he like drops his blade and like does claw for claw too, but he can't see you. Okay. Yeah, so a 12 miss, like, it doesn't miss. You scrape him, and surprisingly, like, his scales are hardy. He doesn't wear any armor besides, like, this plain hides just to clothe him. And as you lacerate, like, the armor, your talons just scrape against this, like, underbelly of scale and hardy scale.
Alright. And then Chungo will then beat his chest and make
Chungo's a monk.
He transformed into an animal with softer scales than
10
he.
plus level. Okay.
What are you doing?
Why is that dude gone? Okay, never mind. I have to do 10.
Why are you rolling hit dice?
Because it's a D10 and it was just an easy thing to get to.
But it's a D10 plus your constitution.
I know.
Okay.
That's why I was like.
Or you can slash D10, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
What is that?
That's second win.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure you can... I'll edit your feature later so it rules it when you click it. It's because it's just convenient. Alright, Nevets. It is your turn.
Oh, I'll just edit now.
Gonna use a bonus action to spend a sorcery point and regain a spell slot. You just see like sparks of electricity coming off of Nevin's like fingertips, which begin to conjure into another chromatic orb. He thinks he finally has like this guy's position knocked down to hit him.
You're lucky he's by a brazier and within your sight with spell sniper, because as you can, I can send it to the party too. Like what Nevet sees on his map is, if it wasn't for like all the light, it will be like a really bad time for him.
I see perfectly.
Because you guys are fine, but like what he sees is this.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I see.
Oh, it's a really nice map.
Yeah.
With
Yep. Roll for
Because
damage.
we can see like the whole map.
How do you want to do this?
finally, after hitting him with 2 chaos bolts and tracking how like the way that the spell arcs to hit him, I feel like I finally I have the angle to finally hit him. Take my shiny diamond out. I conjure the chromatic orb of cold damage from it, and like as he's dodging Chungo's talon, I catch him like from the way that he weaves the damage, like just in his chest.
That does it. As you catch him, he collapses onto his knees and kind of fixes both his fresh scars that he seems to really embrace. Like you hear him under his breath, like, beautiful scars. And then he shakes himself out of this like blood rage, this hunt, and looks up to the sky and thanks his gods. As we are out of initiative. Good job, guys.
I'm gonna let you know, if Chungo landed that talent attack, I was gonna grapple him, and then I was gonna suplex him.
Guys, I think I'm the only one who can
That was my idea.
For a second, I had to think about that word for a second, because at first I thought you said like souffle, not flex. I'm like, you're gonna make him a pastry?
Yeah.
Am I the only one who damaged him? Oh no,
I
Ashling hit him.
him too.
Ashling hit him.
I did
That
damage
was-
too. Fuck you, Nevitz.
I hope you guys know.
Did you actually? I thought you missed every time.
No, I
No,
should
you
have
didn't.
hit.
Did you just hit the pot?
No, I hit the pot and him, Nevitz.
Yeah, he hit him first. He was the first person to hit him.
You ungrateful child, come over
Like,
here
you
so I
see
can
his eye now.
beat
He
your
needs new
featherless ass
artwork
cheeks.
because I took out one of his eyes.
Well, you
I'm
see,
coming- I'm coming for you.
he transformed back and he has both his eyes now. Like the transformation is purely like a physical one, not a transient one. Does that make sense? It's like wild shape, but
It's
yeah,
fake.
it's not
But not
fake,
real.
but it's like you embrace a animal's form, which completely changes you. Like you regrow
I
organs, you regrow
desire
everything.
To become a hippo.
You absorb all your equipment on your body into yourself.
So far, true to Chungo not wanting to fight, he has dealt 0 damage in this campaign.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Like the stats or like the actual.
No, look up.
Quetzalcoatl?
There's just images of it.
Yeah, I know Quetzalcoatl. It's the biggest non-feathered animal that can fly.
I have conjure animals, and I was like, yeah, I'm using it.
Hell
I can summon a CR2 creature at will, and it's like a fake creature. Yeah, fuck yeah.
it's
I'm gonna summon a
fucking-
reptile. Fucking yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop my concentration and attack puddles of water. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nice. Very nice.
My whole plan was to sneak up here and then grab him.
Sorry. Yeah.
That was my plan, and then he disappeared into the thing, and I was like, okay. I
Okay.
guess my next thing's going to be wrestling a crocodile.
I'm gonna say
And then
for.
he turned back to normal. I was like, I'm going to suplex him. And then he died, and I was like, alright.
So you're gonna love this Trent, and the rest of you too. This is one of those NPCs that you can like return to if you ever like want to train in martial weapons or like get more goods. So you can keep fighting him. You can keep like sparring him on one. I'll do it over RP chat because you guys beat him once. We did this a bit, but like if you want like RP, like I want to train, this is the NPC you go to.
Alright.
It's just a cool bit. I don't know. I fucking love this guy.
What item are we gonna get?
So, for expediency's sake, I will explain what each item is. Let me just post it in chat, actually. It's much faster this way.
I
So,
will say Nevitz did the most.
there
Go away.
he can either offer, like, blessings from his goddess. It's male. Simone is male. There is the blessing of Thorn Whip, where a creature size large or smaller hit by your weapon, be it range or melee, is pulled to you up to like 10 feet. There is Blessing of the Flame, where either your arrows or your weapon is ignited, and you can use it as a light source, and it's also like a range fling of a little mote of fire. There is the Conch of Simonia, which is essentially like an extra breathing device. It is one breath, one lungful. If you're underwater, or if you're choking or suffocating smoke, or anything that makes you lose your breath, it is one full lungful that can restore you and restore restart the amount of time before you start choking, suffocating, or drowning. There is also that small bag of herbs and soils and stuff. It is a bag of augury. You smell it, and depending on what smell you get an idea of whether a task in the future ahead of you will bring you will or woe, fortune or failure, or a mix of both. It's a kind of like a guidance thing. Did I miss anything?
The circles.
And then there's
And
the
Well, I never put that back.
the marbles. Well, I mean, like if you want to participate in this, you would have done so.
Okay.
Honestly,
Okay.
I mean, it's Humblewood. It's like wholesome like that. You can steal if you want. After this, I can make you roll for it, but it's not gonna earn you favor with this guy. I'm gonna say that. You do what you want though. The little marbles with the motes of element come with all 5 of them. Each of them can be used as spell focuses, so it's more like flavor. But if you want to like shatter them, they release the mode inside, and the mode inside is a what do they call those creatures?
Elemental?
Not an elemental, because that's way too powerful for this campaign right now. But it is a mini elemental. What do you call them? Give me 5e. Water monsters.
Sprite?
Kraken.
Right?
Like a sprite, but what do you call those little elementals that we had in Crystal Strata were made out of ice?
Mephits?
Mephits, yes, it is a mephit. So each one shatters into a mephit of its corresponding element, or if you shatter 2 of them at once, you will get a stronger mephit that is like the fusion of the 2 elements. So if you shatter like water and wind, you'll get an ice mephit. If you shatter like water and fire, you'll get a steam mephit, and those are all different, and the combined ones are more powerful. If you're thinking about what a mephit is, here's a picture just for reference, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Copy image address, post to chat. So this is an ice method. It's these little elemental tricksters that are loyal to you. They come in different elements, and they can do different tasks before they're pretty much dismissed. And that's what those that's what gives the magic to those orbs. Other than that, they can be used as flavorful, like
You actually post it.
I posted it in the Roll20 chat.
Lore.
No, in Roll20 chat.
In the game chat?
In the
Yeah,
game chat,
right here.
yes. You get it.
Like on the website. What have you got in blood and wind?
Blood is
NATO.
is it actually it's a more ancient form of magic, and you're not quite sure what that's gonna do yet.
What if you combine all of them?
You make a tactical.
I'm gonna roll randomly and combine elements at random, pretty much.
Ah. Just make one elemental.
What are you gonna summon Exodia? Like no.
Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go.
Is this a one-time per use thing? Or
If you want the
if you
methods.
shatter them, you destroy them and you summon Mephit, and then it just returns to the elemental plane where it came from. And then there's the other items. It's just you choose one. It's kind of
What does the whip do?
it's a thorn whip. So either you wrap it around your weapon and you can use it when you attack and hit somebody to pull somebody toward you 10 feet closer.
Oh, it's the blessing. Okay.
Yeah, it's a
I
blessing.
thought you meant, like, the actual whip.
It's the actual whip is used in the blessing. It wraps around your sword, your club, or whatever, and it comes to life when you hit a creature.
Okay.
It's like a miniature version of that tentacle rod that you guys got in the campaign.
Just
there
be
anything-
clear that we can only pick one item, right?
Correct.
For the group.
Yes.
Means we need to agree and decide who it goes to.
is there anything that can be used with the orbs other than smashing them for the method?
Spell focus.
Spell focuses, which
Oh.
pretty much allow you to use spells that use material components without using the material component unless it costs gold.
So like the diamond wouldn't be able to be spell focused,
No,
but,
but
like,
like
a giant
fireball
toenail
that
would be
requires guano. Now the fireball is comes from the spell focus of this elemental fire mote, for example. It's a flavor thing.
It's like almost the same thing as component pouch because you can just state that you're filling it up with the items you need. But it's
Oh.
just like component pouch is cooler because you can like grab it. From
Some
the bag and
DMs
be like,
really
"Ah, I have it."
enforce, like if you watch Critical Role, like it's really enforced to have components before casting spells, especially if they cost gold. But if they don't cost gold, I don't really care. You just have it on you because you're a wizard or sorcerer. Like you just it's like you don't have arrows on you, but you're a ranger. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, maybe for like.
I'll be right back in
I'm-
2 seconds.
I'm
Bow
down for the
people.
chromatic balls. That could be really handy.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm indifferent.
I was thinking blessing of flame for one of the 2-3 bow people we have.
For the blessing of, to be clear about the blessing of flame, it deals an extra 1d8 fire damage on top of the piercing
No.
damage. Doesn't just replace the. It does no. It replaces the damage.
It replaced. Alternatively, you hurl the fire like an arrow shot. Oh, and that it says via arrow shot.
What are you guys talking about? Blessing of Flame adds on top of the damage.
It does. Okay.
Yes.
So then, yeah, you'd be able to have how it lasts 10 minutes, but you use it up like.
Yeah.
Would it be like
That's
conjure flame?
Yes. It's pretty much
Okay.
like the contra flame, but flavor wise, you can attach it to an arrow
How many times can you possibly use it?
once per turn.
Okay.
I mean,
So
but, like-
that's an extra fire damage.
the bag of augury could be useful as well.
Yeah, we could look at 2 paths and smell.
Yeah, or like when we get to the
Smell.
Capitol and a politician's like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" and we sniff it.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
might be a
but, like,
jerk.
Why would we want to have a hint about like what the best possible
Because the
option is
DM would love you for it.
when we could just like do it randomly?
Because perhaps maybe you don't want to make a CD deal with a politician at the Capitol.
Because rolling
Yeah.
more dice is boring, and smelling magic salts to determine which way to go is hilarious.
Yeah.
Pick the magic salt I want.
It's like we get to the Capitol, it's like, do I go
You-
through the gate?
you know
That's
what,
not- no, I
guys?
turn back.
I'm gonna be. I think I'm being a little bit unfair. I'm gonna let you pick 2 items.
Yeah, it doesn't. In all honesty, I think the one's fine.
I'm like,
Like,
if it's gonna be more fun,
You're just sniffing
if-
your way around.
if picking
Yeah,
one item will
fair.
limit you from having fun, I can allow 2 items. That's fine.
I want the bag.
So Chungo will get the bag, and I'll make a
Which one of
little.
you are gonna have the bag? Who's gonna be sniffing the bag?
It can be used
that's
communally
totally-
among you.
It's community bag of Smith
It's gonna be
sniffing.
a community bag.
The community bag
Yeah,
of
the
sniffing
barrels,
will be
technically.
attached to my toad's cage, easily accessible.
Get the toad to smell
Can I
it.
attach the blessing of flame to my whip?
Yes. It'll be like a flaming whip that provides you light, and you can whip it, and it will fling fire with the whip.
Whip it
Really
good.
cool.
So like when you make an attack, it does do a whip attack, hitting with if it hits, and then like a mode of flame just shoots out and onto that target or a second target. It really depends on you.
Cool.
Ah, it's green flame blade.
I mean, it's a cantrip. You can cast it as a bonus action. Yeah.
And we could all use the blessing of flame.
No,
Right, but just
that
only
is
one
bound to
of us
one piece of
can.
equipment. That will be bound to one piece of
One
equipment.
piece of equipment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that piece of equipment
Um,
will be bound to you via tournament, by the way. So
Alright, so we all want bag of smells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. So we'll take bag of smell.
mhm.
And do you guys really want a second item?
Yeah.
God has said we will take one, therefore we will have one.
God,
Well, we got the bag and the
Jesus.
flame blessing for her whip, right?
Well, we still decide. But
If
yeah,
we're
we
allowed
do
to
the
have
flame.
a second one, I won't complain to having a flaming whip. But if we can only have one, I'm totally okay with only taking
Sure.
the smell bag.
If that's
No,
what the party
we
agrees
just give
upon.
you the flame whip.
Okay.
It's fine.
So, gladly, you have earned it. He gives you the bag of smell. I'll make a little handout for it after session.
I'm gonna smell the bag.
The shiny whip.
You have
is
to.
great.
It's pretty much an augury smell, so you can use it as much as you want. But you have to make an inquiry, like an inquiry about a path ahead or a choice ahead or something.
Is this guy a cool dude?
Rule wisdom, just pure wisdom.
It's a bad idea.
Who has good wisdom? By the way, just curious.
No, never. Who cares who has
everybody,
good?
everybody
Go.
does.
I think I have decent wisdom, but like no intelligence.
Or employing some divine tool, you receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to make within the next 30 minutes. The DM chooses from the following possible omens: wheel for good results, woe for bad results, wheel and woe for both good or nothing for results that aren't especially good or bad. The spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that might change the... This is like the fine print of the item. The spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as casting of additional spells or the loss or gain of a companion. If you cast a spell 2 or more times before completing your next long rest, there is a cumulative 25% chance for each casting after the first one to get a random reading. The DM makes this rule a secret. Oh, delicious. Okay, so it's not wisdom. Okay. So you know that like the more you use it, the more inaccurate it might become, but you will never know if it is inaccurate or not.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just
no.
have a guarantee of like first use is like guarantees. Okay. Is this fella? You get the amid the swampy smells, the sulfur smell. It transitions into this swamp flower smell and the smell of fresh tanned hides and sweat and blood after battle, but not in like a bad way, in a post workout kind of endorphin kind of way. You get a good sense that this guy is pretty chill and
Jungo says bag says this guy's a good man.
yeah. Bag. But the bag has spoken.
The bag has spoken.
Okay, this bag is the kind of thing that'd be perfect for a long-running campaign because you just keep it forever.
That's what
and
we're doing. We're
Yeah.
keeping
it's
this
like,
forever.
We're gonna do
smell
this
the
for,
bag, and the bag's like completely fucking wrong, but you're like, the bag is so good.
The bag.
I'm
has
gonna make
spoken.
a handout to like solidify the rules of this bag, but essentially it's fucking it's just for fun. I fucking love this thing.
It's called the bag has spoken bag.
This bag has spoken bag.
Do we go left or right, bag?
Backwards. Fuck!
You have to be like, will going
Is
left,
the left?
will be going
Is the
left be
left
good?
good?
You can't ask it yes or no. You have to be like a
I know,
specific
I know.
course of action. Because it can't
Now
smell
that we're
left.
finished with the battle, now that we're finished with the battle and we've picked our item, can we rest for the rest of the evening in this Crocodile's cave?
Sure,
Or
you have tents. You have the charm. He won't let you rest inside his house, but he will let you rest within. You can actually take advantage of the actual pools as well if you so wish. You have a little.
Chungo will take a bath again.
I gotta go swim around in the big pool.
You feel right at home because you're a Maran. You without any resistance, you just swim through it, and it's nice. It's very warm.
I have a swim speed, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go relax in the pool, loosen the muscles, and I how do you want it? I like having like my arms like on the rocks, resting on the rocks, kind of petting Flare as I relax, kind of like floating on my front. That makes sense.
Chungo takes out the bag and asks, "Is resting in this pond a good idea?" And I smell it.
The bag smells of water, because water has smell, Tom. Smells good. It smells of a sort of a minty kind of twist to it, and whatever else herbs you usually would put into fancy baths that you seldom ever used in the coalition, but you had the pleasure of like robbing a merchant who had these like flower petals that you put into baths and make them smell all nice, and that's kind of the same smell you get from this, and it's a good smell.
Chungo nods his head and gets in the bath.
A few of those same petals fall into the pool and spread the smell.
Chungo's delightfully surprised.
Yeah. I like to mention the bag is like a tea bag. You just soak it in the water. And it's like either it's gonna be really pleasant, or it's just like, oh cool, and the water turns brown and it smells like shit now.
Oh.
Because it's full of like soil and fungus and stuff. So like God knows.
I also when I finish relaxing in the pool, can I prepare or start preparing those herbs that I found at the shrine?
Sure. You can either do it by yourself, and I'll just have you roll a straight nature check to see how well you can do it by yourself with average knowledge, or you can ask for help from those who have some skill in the matter. I'll give you advantage over those.
Nevitz, you're like the master at mixing shit. Will you help me?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'll help
Will
you.
you help me mix my herbs?
I'll help her.
Yay.
Nevitz is like, yes, of course, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Making more
came-
cocaine.
You came to the right guy.
So you're not.
Oh yeah, you did give away.
I'm making a healing potion, but okay.
While you're not as proficient with herbalism kits, Nevitz, you do have a certain knowledge of herbs. So I'm gonna have either you helping or Aisling roll straight intelligence with advantage, just to see how well you can prepare.
Set advantage. I can just click on the thingy. I don't get how do you set advantage?
You just roll twice and you pick the highest number. Not saves, checks.
Oh. I don't know how to do that. How do you do that?
Well, not quite proficient with a herbalism kit or having a herbalism kit on hand, freehanding it with the tools you have on hand, perhaps some tools that Juju can provide. Just intelligence check. 2 dice.
Where you see your stats on the left hand of your character sheet, you can just click the intelligence.
You can tell it. I can do that twice.
Yep. With an 11, you realize that without a herbalism kit, making something as complex as a healing potion is not gonna happen this night, unfortunately. And you butcher a few of the plants in your experimentations, and you have only enough for one more attempt left out of the whole bunch that you collected from the. You've kind of sort of stopped yourself. You had enough insight to stop yourself from using all of it at once. You have enough for one more attempt, but you get the idea that this requires specialized tools to make healing potions straight up, which is why they cost so much. It's a process. Nonetheless, whatever remnants you have from that mush can be used in fine tasting tea, perhaps, or however you wish. So don't just straight up throw it out of your inventory. You can use it for other inventive uses if you so wish. That aside, well, I'm gonna go ahead and go to night's rest. Does anybody else wish to do anything as you set up camp and Eliza helps set up campfire in the middle between your tents?
Oh, I'm good.
If any of you suffered any injuries during the trial, since it's a long rest, we can also flavor it that Juju helps tend to your wounds. It was a nice battle, but there's no need to have you leaving here worse than you came. After all, you were guests. Anybody wants to pull Night Watch?
I'll go first.
Does anybody want to join Night Watch?
I'll join the night watch as well.
Sure. As the night descends and your companions go to sleep, if you wish to take an opportunity to RP a little bit, it's your call.
I put it in the mashed up stuff. I put it in as a tisane. That's what I put
Sure.
it as, which is like a tea.
Sure.
Bravo.
Yes, Chungo.
Tell Chungo about time before wind touched.
Oh. Well, I've always been wind touch, Chungo.
Before new.
Before new. Well, I was but a wee lad. And everything seemed normal that it would for a small young avian in the land of Humblewood. But I came to notice that I could do things other kids couldn't. It went on like that for several years. I thought nothing of it, but one day the church came to the house and told me that I was blessed by the gods. I went and studied there for a while, away from my family. So long, in fact, that a younger brother of mine was born at some point. I think he's perch guard still. Anyways, it's actually quite nice. You can travel around and throw some ball bearings around and be like, oh, the wind moves them, and people will give you food and praise you, and it's incredible for archery because you're just naturally a good shot. And you're like, oh, the wind guides my bow. It's quite good. Yeah, it was a simple life, until the church came and picked me from my parents and all that.
Yeah.
Now you wouldn't touch Chungo. Are you a special turkey?
Chungo just farmer. Was just farmer.
Chungo just ex-bandito.
Yeah. Chungo live in was area in Scorched Grove. Area.
Ah. Yes, the Aryan Scorched Grove.
Yes.
I know much about that place.
Yeah. None fire take place. Chungo too late to save parents.
Disenfranchised, homeless, itemless, familyless, loverless,
Chungo then join.
itemless.
Chungo joined bandits at a young age. Yeah. Chungo find out there possibly better way than hurting people, so Chungo leave.
Yeah. From what I can tell, Chungo, the best way to make money is to be a guard, and you get to hurt people in self-defense, and you get to feel good about it.
That not Chungo meaning.
No, that's my meaning. Chungo has found a peaceful route of hugs and brutal ribcage crushing hugs.
Sure.
Yes. Hurt unintentional, but sends message
Jungo
nonetheless.
just big man.
Chungo is indeed a large fella.
Yeah.
What about you, Nevitz? Why the hell are you
Nevitz
here?
staying with-
You turn to Nevis and he's just like,
Oh, them fucking kids.
I mean, we did say that Chungo and Pavo take guard.
Oh, right.
I have my feathers back, too.
Sorry, I'm old.
Ah, yeah. Chungo believes in featherbacks too.
So do you believe in the scalies now, Chungo?
Chungo still believes that just sentient crocodile.
you look over your shoulder, Chango, and you see the sentient crocodiles indeed resting in the moonlight on the hot rocks, trying to like draw as much heat from it. This beings, and as far as you know, more primal and primitive and animal-like than humanoid.
It's just crocodile.
Yeah.
Crocodile that can talk and walk.
Can I sketch him while he's
For sure,
bathing on the
nothing is
rock?
stopping you. He's very still. His eyes are closed. He seems to be enjoying.
I sketch him like one of the avian girls and in my note.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a Titanic reference in an unlikely place.
Yes.
Whatever's fun. All right. As your night shift comes to an end, and you begin to feel your eyelids become heavy, 2 hours later, you may wake up to other companions, or go to sleep.
Chungo wakes up the other two for night watch.
Okay. Nevitz and Ashling, you get roused up from your sleep by your companions.
I don't want to wake up.
Chungo picks up Nevis
5 more minutes, Ma.
and puts him on his feet.
Oh.
Chungo can do it, Nevis can do it.
Okay.
I give him a blanket though he's warm when he's sitting, even though there's steam everywhere.
You can feel the heat radiate.
He's
from
naked now, so he needs it.
Nah, you got
his feathers
back in
grew
24.
back in a sheen. You're surprised how fast they grew back. Some magic took them away. Some magic returned them.
My mommy always said I was special.
Chungo nods at hearing that and then goes to bed.
I go
Alright,
across
let's
and
hang
sit
up.
with Nevitz and ask him about his gifts and when did he develop them and how did he know he was special?
I don't really remember when I started using magic. It was kind of just always a part of me. I would sneeze, there'd be a sparkle there. I'd touch someone, so they'll shock. Eventually, I learned to actually like manifest it into spells. It came pretty easily to me. My parents bought me books at first because they thought I was going to be some wizard, but like I never read them.
And I've seen how chaotic and unpredictable your spells can be. Do you ever get frightened?
It's not chaotic. It's just listen. Look, I'm just a bit extra magical, okay? You know, sometimes when I use my magical flair, there's a bit of extra magic that comes out just because I'm special.
You are definitely special, Nevitz. Special little chicken. Or little dove, sorry.
Racist.
But he is a dove!
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I thought Lumas were doves!
Yes, no, you're correct. I'm just
Yes, I am.
You said chicken first.
I'm just pulling your leg, pulling your tail. Okay.
Nevis just smiles, like innocently, while nodding his head, like yes, yes. I'm not chaotic. I'm just special.
You gonna reciprocate that question?
Hmm?
Now you're just gonna be socially awkward and just answer a question and not even just ask about her past.
I mean,
Uh,
Nevitz is like 5.
I know, it's just funny that Evans is like, yeah, this, and then just goes back to staring at the fire, and she's like, okay.
So Sweet Dove. That's gonna be my new nickname for you, Nevin. By the way, Sweet Dove. So get used to it. so Sweet Dove, do you ever miss your parents? What made it that you are traveling at such a young age?
My parents aren't around anymore, so I worked in the guild to make some money to try and, you know, earn myself a room, and I like adventure. I like the wildness of it. I just like seeing things I've never seen before, and among other things, and having the opportunity to just use my magic. When I was living in the city, it wasn't very people didn't like it very much. I don't know why.
And is there anything in particular that you've had your mind's eye on that you always want to see or visit?
Not really. No.
You just wander aimlessly.
Well, not aimlessly. I'm with you guys.
Aimlessly before you joined our group.
Oh no, before I joined the group, I was just working with the guild. I was working with you, remember? With the guild to ship potions and stuff.
Oh yeah, with Rolo, right? How did you meet Rolo?
Fuck.
Come on, if you don't start asking me questions, it's worth to keep going, Sweet down there.
What's your face? Sorry, Ashling. Can you? No, I'm just gonna use your passive perception. Halfway through your question, you know, Nevis, do you want to describe it yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So during the conversation, I was just playing with the new bag that they got, and you noticed that like sometime through it, he's taking out a bag from like his own bag. It's white powder in it. He's slowly like putting some inside of the.
Are you putting
You put cocaine in the
son of
auger
a
bag?
bitch?
Nevitz, what are you doing?
He's trying to get us high on cocaine whenever we smell the augury pouch.
He's putting
Well-
cocaine in the auger bag.
He like
I'm-
he's whispering me all this shit. Like, I want to do this. I'm like, yeah, do it. Rolls a 5 on stealth. I'm like, dude.
Can I nut his forehead and we're like slap his hands away?
Yeah,
being
you
like,
can do whatever you want.
"Let's
This is
not
player on player
do
interaction
this.
here.
Let's not, as much as this would be hilarious to watch Pavo and Chungo get high every time they ask.
You
a
can do
ridiculous
whatever your
question.
character would do in this situation. You feel free.
Yeah, you can slap it out of my hand. Go ahead.
Onto your face.
because I think it'd be
And
really funny, and because Ashlyn's cheekier than I am, I see him trying to put it, so I like get my hand or my paw underneath his hand, and I like push it up into his face.
Oh my god.
Dude, roll me a constitution save, my man.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
I should stop. I'll stop whispering the rolls.
Yes. I mean, you can still whisper. That's fine. Okay, so as the powder into your face, you watch as the Luma's eyes begin to like vibrate in their place and like dilate. You experience the following. You like the edges of your vision begin to like cloud as you sit there. Your weight begins to feel a bit weird. Like a bit of nausea creeps in at first, and a very faint dusting of snow begins to float around you, disappearing 10 feet ahead, like as if just vanishing. Your vision becomes grayscale and slightly vibrates, as if your eyes are restlessly darting to and through really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you just feel this burst of energy just come to you.
I say to Ashling, like, but it smells really good, and he
So you-
stands up.
So you think
And
you
he starts
say,
running around
so
the
you to
fire.
your ears it sounds like it smells really good, but Ashling, all you hear is it smells really good. Good.
Oh, no.
I just sit back and watch the entertainment as Nevitz flails about the campsite, trying to expend this newfound energy and laugh. I try
Nevitz.
to laugh inwardly, attempting not to awaken Pavo and Chungo and Eliza.
Just unable to just rest in one place, you begin pacing around the campfire. You look around you in the snow, amid the drift. You see like an anglerfish looking creature just kind of ethereal like float by with this sound. Strange shapes in your peripheral vision, and the occasional like chatter, distant chuckling can be heard. Drifting spiritual energy that turns your blood cold, and all the while you just have this restless, vibrating energy within you. Whatever you made, it is good.
It's great. I made the best cooking. Okay, I wrote an 18 on that. What was it?
Which is why I don't feel bad letting you have some.
With Ashlyn being the only perceptive one during this watch, you spend the next hour just experiencing this wondrous new substance that you made from this weird plant. Roll me one last Constitution saving throw. You feel woozy, your body feeling like you're about to like black out, and just as your exhausted brain starts to crash, you feel these like bubbles in your brain feel, and this like cotton mouth, but like your whole body is cotton mouth. You just become really lethargic, and you don't suffer the exhaustion, but nonetheless you suffer the lethargy effect of like the calm down after an hour.
I just lay down on a log on my back.
Like, dude.
Nevitz is high as fuck.
Really?
I approach Nevitz lying on his log, and I kind of do some quiet hushing sounds and soothing sounds, and
Humblewood, we're giving drugs to children.
kind of pet the top of his head, and I hum to him like softly, trying to encourage him to sleep.
Soft kitty, warm kitty.
Baby little ball of fur.
Muffler!
Little ball of cocaine. Oh god, oh shit, fuck, oh no.
Like the night is really serene to Ashling. It's like quiet. Meanwhile, inside of like his head, it's like roar. Oh
As
god.
I see his eyes start to close, I go and grab his blanket, sleeping bag, whatever we're using, and I put it over him as to tuck him in for the rest of the evening as I go back to my spot by the fire and keep watch.
Sure thing. It is at this point you watch as the horizon on the east horizon begins to bloom with the colors of sunrise. Eliza wakes up early and makes her cart ready for the last push toward Alderheart. And as you finish your watch, Eliza makes a little bit of breakfast. Juju did not stir from his spot the whole watch and doesn't seem to be stirring out of it for now. As you all wake up and finish breakfast and nurse any last wounds from days prior, if you wanna trade, you can approach napping Juju, and for expediency's sake, he will take the snake skin, all of it. For what is it you want to trade for?
Maybe hide or bone armor.
So yeah, he can trade a medium like hide armor set that he made himself for the snake skin, no problem.
Yeah, I will take it.
It is very well made. Despite his savage ways, it is like a tradition of his people, and it looks sturdy, and you can add hide armor to your inventory and put it on yourself.
Oh, fantastic.
Has like draconic runes here and there, and it's made from different hides of different animals, even some scales here and there. Up to your imagination, really, how it looks like. Has a few wolf fangs that act as buttons down the middle to kind of close it up, and fur along the collar. Yeah, really
Cool.
wild-like.
That's medium armor?
It's hide armor, yeah, so it's
Iron
medium
armor?
armor.
Okay, I'll add it to my...
I'll add it if you don't add it, but yeah.
I got
Anything else you want to trade last minute?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. With that, you part ways with Juju for now. He always welcomes you to return here should you want to train or trade. He resides not far from the road. As you maneuver back to the road, Eliza begins her trip east. It takes you the better half of the day to finally reach the cliff overlooking the great tree of Alderheart. Hurrah! We have entered chapter 2. Hurrah!
Ooh, how many chapters are there to this? Just curious.
I can't tell you for the sake of like surprise, but you know it's a hefty adventure. You guys are not even halfway through, so
Yay!
yeah, it's a hefty adventure. And I keep adding more because I'm bored.
I'm enjoying how this one, even though we only had one battle compared to other ones, I feel like we got way more into this one. Like we spent like probably like an hour just like.
I'm trying to make fights in Humblewood matter. Ambushes are fine, but like I also want a little bit of plot, so I'm glad you guys like it.
I'm enjoying the plot.
While the great tree is visible from here, you see it. It's still like a good day's journey off. Even like you see it from here, and it is huge. And yet the road before you is long. As you continue down the road, you pass by other fellow adventurers and travelers, and a few perch guards patrol the roads along the capital's perimeter in squads, kind of like 2x6 with like a leading captain in front. Some of them are riding mounts, anywhere from actual horses to more exotic ox-like mounts that are used to pull carts of supplies along them. You see like that signs of bandit menace are nowhere to be seen, largely due to the increased presence of these perch guard, and Eliza expresses her relief and sense of ease the closer you venture toward the city. This far from Scorched Grove, there are no signs of burnt down woodland villages or scorched forests on the horizon, so it is easy to see why some folk living in the capital forget or dismiss the forest fire crisis. By late evening, after a few hours of travel, Eliza abruptly sets her cart down where the road winds around an immense tree trunk. The tree is so large, its branches block out sunlight for at least a mile. I think I have a map for this. I do. Yay. Well, there it is. We finally arrived to Alderheart. She gestures upwards to a network of platforms and bridges in the canopy above. Closer inspection of the trees show rough steps carved into the trunk. At a distance, these steps are almost impossible to spot. And with a smile, Eliza turns to you all and says, "Thank you so much for getting me here safely. I am afraid this is where we part ways for now. But should you ever wish to visit, you can always find me up there in the Canopy Market, in my emporium, a little ways off from the main thoroughfare." Looking up the winding stairway that works its way up the trunk, you can barely make out a canopy filled with the bustle of city life. Buildings are located within the foliage, and crowded roadways are sculpted from the giant branches. The roadways are connected with rope, wood bridges, and carefully positioned platforms made of timber. All throughout, you see birdful guards keeping watch throughout the city. You see laborers operating pulley systems that are used to raise carts to the canopy platforms above. I have a parting gift for you all as a token of our friendship, actually. And Eliza ramages in her backpack and brings out a small, beautiful music box.
Pretty.
I'll grab it.
Right. With that, Eliza
Ready.
makes ready to leave. Is there anything else you wish to say?
Stay safe.
Will do. She gives you all a hug, one by one.
I pick her up with the hug.
Yeah. And when you say your goodbyes, you see her venture deeper into the city, up the winding platform, kind of loading her cart onto one of those mechanisms, the pulley systems that raise the carts up toward the canopy, and lifting up and out of sight for now. I think this is a pretty good spot to call it a session. Thank you so much for joining me. I know we pushed a little late, but just having fun with it.
That's fine.
Well, we had a lot of chatting,
That's fine.
playing chatting more than we have in the past.
I really want to make that a thing because that was sweet. I was sitting here, like my face was in my hands, my chin was in my hands, and it was adorable. But yeah, yawning throughout. So I think I'll call it a night as we've arrived in Alderheart. Yay! I just don't want to push too late, and also my sister's not here, so I really want her to experience Alderheart. Hopefully she'll be able to join us next week. She just had to get off the computer because she's only allowed so much computer time.
Yeah.
Jungle.
Okay.
To be 16 again.
Yeah.
Wait. For future reference, would cocaine count as a poison?
No, I mean,
If anything, a stimulant, faster movements.
no,
Haste.
not really.
Cocaine is haste spell.
I mean,
Cocaine is a spell.
an overdose will cause you to become
Did you enjoy
poisoned.
your first taste of your cocaine that you made? Did you enjoy your first taste?
It was.
How old are you?
Are you wait? Are you telling everyone?
No, this is after.
Oh, out of character.
Oh, I was about to
It
say,
was
that's,
great,
That's
yeah.
my boy. But maybe that is not the wisest thing to encourage.
I like how
Can't
you
leave
stopped.
alone.
I like how you stopped me from putting it in the bag, but you put it in. But you made Nevitz consume it.
Wait, you forced
Yes.
fed Nevitz
gotta learn.
cocaine?
Yeah,
That is so cruel.
that's
I'm reporting you
I'm
to the
like,
perch guard.
Ashlyn is motherly, but cheeky, like a cheeky mother.
I feed cocaine to
Cheeky
children.
mother begging their kids.
Cheeky mother. Gives my kid coke.
I slapped it into his face, but then later and laughed at him and did nothing while he was going 20 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. But then when he started to wind down, I was soothing. But I wanted to just watch him kind of suffer a little bit from what he was going to make you guys suffer.
I wanted people to experience how nice it smelled.
Well,
Bag is left.
on that
That's
note,
the way to go. Oh shit. Alright. Thanks for playing, everybody. I'm gonna go to bed.
Tom, will you fix my whip so that it has
Yeah.
the blazing thingy on it?
I'm off tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Do you mind just
Good
shooting me a
night.
message on Discord so I do it to just on general just shoot a message so I can get up tomorrow morning and do it. I'm kind of tired. I want to just chill and
Yeah.
I'll get to it
Oh,
tomorrow.
what did
for
you
sure.
think of my crocodile people? I put it in the chat. I
Crocodile?
found the image. Yeah, in the chat. For
Th-
Final Fantasy, that is.
those look like very ugly. Like what's that creature from Star Wars? The Annie, the fucking annoying guy. Jar Jar. They look like a bunch of Jar Jars. So they're not
I
quite.
guess
They're
kinda,
not.
but they're a little bit more savage looking than freaking
They're not
Gaga.
quite. But if that's what you imagine, then all the power to you.
Remember, Final Fantasy 12 is at least a dozen years old now, so
Yeah.
All right, good night, guys. See
I
you.
mean,
Fun session.
humanoids come in all shapes. Good night. Humanoids come in all shapes and sizes, and if that's what's in your mind, if that's what's in your theater of mind, like D&D at a table is played without tokens or like fancy things, maybe like a doodle map, and it's really all theater of the mind. So like, it's wonderful when you imagine one thing and your party mate imagines another thing. But yeah, laser focus are just like a thing in D&D, and I think that's from Final Fantasy.
The thing is, I played Final Fantasy 12 on my Game Boy, so it used more of this kind of art style. This is from the desktop version.
Mhm.
The image there. Whereas when I played it, it looked more like it just had like the straight drawing.
Just as humble folk and bird folk can look different between species, even though if one is Strig and the other one is Strig, lizard folk can vary. And you know, if you ever want to make a lizard folk character, and that's an option, they can totally look like that. Absolutely. And there are probably tribes out there within the fantasy world that use Final Fantasy inspirations. So yeah. I'm gonna cut the recording here just so I'm not recording for nothing. Bye, YouTube.